Whoa, hello everybody. We're back here. I know it's about 3 hours too late, but that's okay. We're going to be here with an amazing game. I've got Keg over here and Blue Panda, and tonight we're going to be casting for you between Hostile Actions and 303 Esports. So guys, how's your night been so far? We got a little bit of a break from that first game. Didn't have to be here for a while. We got to chill out in the chat, have a great time.
My morning was fine. Haven't got to night time yet down here in New Zealand. Believe it or not, the times are actually different. We don't all run on the American clock.
Blue, when's the last time you went to sleep?
Sleep is for the weak, and I can do it when I'm dead. That's the plan.
When was the last time you were weak then?
Today? No, there's no weakness down here. We always win. That's why we're the #1 rugby team in the world. Come at me.
Well, I mean, when you've got spiders the size of like a human child, I think that, you have to be born strong. So, oh man, but what a time to be a caster in Siege and in SCS. We've got some really exciting things coming out here for the league soon. I mean, we're already halfway through the season, and we actually do have some pretty big news as well. Obviously, the reason we did start late today is because there was a forfeit in the first match. It was Renaissance who unfortunately had to forfeit, and in the SCS rulebook, if you forfeit twice in a season, you are disqualified from the season. So unfortunate for them, but they will be leaving us. But that doesn't mean we're going to be playing with 11 teams. We're going to have a 12th team come out, and it is going to be an amazing announcement here of who that is going to be, and you'll see that later tonight. So if you haven't already, go check out our Twitter for that information. But for the time being, let's check out the teams that we're seeing here tonight. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this is going to go down. We have two very interesting teams here tonight in Panda. Of course, if there's anyone we have to dissect these teams together, I'm glad it's us, because I'm curious to see how these two are going to blend in together. And we did talk about forfeits too, and well, we have a little bit of forfeit action coming out from earlier in the season, but not so much here. So there's a little bit of makeup action we have to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, going into today, we've got two rather interesting entities on the board. You've got 303 for one. Opening week, they had to battle up against In Control Nation. They actually drew the series, going down 7-5 map number 1, bringing it back 7-3 in map number 2. The rest of their appearances, they've been rather interesting. They then had to battle Renaissance, which again was another tie. Week 3, they ended up forfeiting. And then they came into week number 4 and got the living hell slapped out of them by Lycus, going down 7-1 2 maps in a row. Now they come into this week, it's against 303. It's another team which is sitting in a similar position on the scoreboard. There's potential that there could be one win hard either way, or we just see yet another draw coming out for 303. Hostile Action, they really haven't had as hard a run in the grand scheme of things. In fact, the teams they've been battling out against, I would honestly argue the hardest two teams they've had to verse are probably Pride and Emergence. So if they're struggling as much as they are at this stage, there is potential we do see 303 just edge it out.
That is actually Synthetic, so that's not who we're looking at to play tonight. But I'll tell you what, guys, just knowing 303, they're actually at the point where if they win both maps in regulation tonight, they will actually kick Visionary out of their 6th place spot for the week. So that would be pretty exciting to see there, and possibly shift up the rest of the season. But looking at Hostile Actions right now, guys, standouts for me have to be Dom, I would say, on this roster. He's just doing spectacular so far this season. He's got the openers, he's got the player rating to back it up. Really impressive cost. What do you guys think, though? Keg?
I mean, I'm not much of a mathematician or a mathematon. I'm nothing math related, but if you look at just Dom and Zag and you average their two score lines together, well, it's pretty much a single unified person there. Zag needs a little bit more action to catch himself up, but he is on the hard support as well. His KD, his scoreline doesn't matter as much. He just needs to be able to help facilitate the action, bring the drones out, get that utility down, and make sure the rest of his teammates, well, they do all hunky-dory as they're going in and clobbering everybody. But that's also a struggle we've been seeing them doing. When you only have just Dom, relying almost entirely on your team to get a lot of these opening entry picks, there could be a lot of issues with maybe even glass cannon potential if he goes down super early in a round, especially as a Nomad, no less, his preferred operator. If your flank watch goes down that early on, you're in for a load of trouble. And Panda, on a map like Villa, that is, that's trouble and make it double. You're going to see some Team Rocket action.
Yeah, there's a number of situations that could go very, very wrong for this Hostile Action team. They're going to need to come into week prepped, ready to go. As we've talked about previously, Rigel, you wanted to say it yourself. If you're sitting below, that 1.0 rating, you are looking on the weaker side of things. At the moment, Hostile Action on paper just look a little bit weaker than their opponents here. You see 303 on the screen. They've had some pretty solid performances. I mean, taking a map away from In Control Nation like they did means that there's a lot of potential on this team. There's no real standout in terms of what they're bringing to the board. Every single player is contributing in a meaningful way. Sheba is probably the most standout in overall ratings, but they're a team that is reasonably consistent in how they all show up.
And I would mention as well, too, 303, the only reason they're so low in the standings is because they unfortunately had to forfeit. They didn't have enough players to play a match 1 week just because of some crazy roster stuff that happened. But now they've gotten that figured out, and they're coming back with a vengeance. But strategically, I would say 303 has that perfect combination that you always look for in a T3 team of being aggressive but doing it with a level head, and they're able to string together these really impressive plays that have gotten them a lot of rounds against the top-tier teams like you were mentioning there, Blue. But Keg, what are your impressions, my friend? Obviously, you are one of the T3 masterminds as well. Blue is the worldwide mastermind, but Keg, you are the NA guru. So what do you think, my friend?
Oh man, I mean, I'm not much of an impressionist. They don't call me the Monet of T3. I think, again, like you said, that goes mostly to Blue Panda, but Redux Rising has been able to hold on to that slot for so long. We did mention 303 did lose a map against, 303 did take a map off of In Control Nation not too long ago, and if we can see some of those mountains kind of crumble down back onto the ground level, there's a very good chance 303 could bring that same amount of force up against the team like Hostile Actions. We see that mountain way up high in the number 2 slot. We see the ground level kind of near that number 10 slot as well. Well, I mean, having that kind of earthquake action going down could be devastating for a team like Hostile Actions coming through. With only 1 win and 7 losses, I think there's a very good chance we could see a 1-8 for Hostile Actions after tonight.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see exactly how they come together. I think that, you know, Hostile Actions has a lot to prove in this one, just given how their previous weeks have gone. So I'm hoping that they come out of the gate strong and we see some really close matches here tonight. I know it would be fun to see some overtime, but that is to be determined at this point. But I'll tell you what, guys, let's take a look at what everyone on staff has been thinking about for this matchup. So obviously Renaissance is a non-factor anymore. So, but in any case, Lycus was gonna, you know, win out on the prediction battle on that one. But it looks like everyone's thinking Hostile Actions on this one so far. Like, what do you guys take on that? I thought it would be a lot more close. I couldn't remember all the predictions myself, even though I did predict Hostile Actions on my own time.
I mean, coming into this week, it's no, I don't think we're really going to be seeing that battle for making playoffs from either of these two teams. I think the battle is just going to be, you know, steering clear of the bottom 4 of the table, which, I mean, that's exactly what you want to be doing in this situation. With that extra win on the board, I think 303 are just sitting a little bit clear. Honestly, their performance have just been that little bit better than Hostile Actions. So coming in today, I'm backing 303 in all honesty, but there is still potential for any number of upsets. There's a number of mistakes that both teams have been making and have been identified by a number of us on the casting desk. So it's whether, you know, either team can overcome those, fix those mistakes up and come out on top of the day and look to pressure towards more middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too as well. I want to stick with my point, though, that 303 is in such a huge driver's seat position right now. They have all the cards in their favor, and there's still a really good chance we could see just a huge royal flush tonight. The predictions, I'm not on this list, unfortunately, but I think there's a great chance we could see a 2-0 tonight in 303's favor. If we do see a 1-1, I would be really highly surprised. If Hostile Actions can pull quite literally a rabbit out of their hat and maybe collectively 5 out of their keyboards individually, I think there's a good chance we could see a 1-1 there. Otherwise, Panda, I really think we're going to be going home early tonight.
So I'm going to pose this question to you guys just to sort of confirm it. So Blue, like, what is your prediction for tonight? Who do you think is walking away with this one if you had to wager?
Honestly, I think the way that this is going to go is map number 1 is going to be close. So I reckon at worst a 7-5. And then from there, I think Hostile Action, they're just going to let things slip a little bit. 303 will ride the momentum and be able to take it out in a clean 2-0.
Okay, I see that. Keg, what about you, my friend?
I mean, I want to maintain with my prediction. I really think 303 is going to take this tonight.
Gotcha. Well, we will have to see as the day plays out who is going to win. Is it going to be the Anzac man or one Keggy boy? We will find that out for certain in just a few short moments here while we wait for the teams to get in their lobbies. But guys, it's that halfway point of the season here. I'm very excited to see how the remainder of the season is going to play out, but let's talk about who you think the top team in this league is going to remain here going into the final 6 weeks of this season. I know right now it is probably Lycus Empire because they have a 10-0 scoreline in terms of maps after tonight's forfeit victories, but any opinions?
I mean, all right, I'll let you go first, Keg. I've been the one to take charge more often than not, and I know you're a man who has a lot of knowledge trapped in that brain right there.
Oh man, almost too much knowledge, but when it comes to these two teams, I want to go into blank slate, Panda. I really feel like I want to almost delete all that knowledge. Like, stick one of those toilet nozzles to my head and just flush it down, all down the drain. Either in the mid-season, we see drastic changes come out, or we just see the same old from all the rest of the season so far, and nothing might not change very much. I know that's a boring analysis, but Panda, please add a little bit more color to my really boring dish.
I mean, so we've seen a lot from these teams so far. Yes, there's been a couple of forfeits, but you know, there have been the usual suspects sitting up there at the top of the leaderboard. There's been a lot of consistency between. I mean, I think the most inconsistent we've seen so far is, if I remember correctly, it's the Wichita Wolves and Lycus have had a couple of roster swaps throughout the season. They haven't. Well, actually, it was more Wichita Wolves that struggled to sort of find who they wanted to round out the roster. Same with Visionary to an extent as well. So I think it's only going to get, I hate to put it this way, it's only going to get worse going into next season for those teams that are struggling at the bottom of the leaderboard. You know, the more time that these rosters who are fluctuating between players have to work together, have to gel, it is just going to widen that gap, because you look at the teams towards the bottom of the ladder, there's no real deviation in what players are coming on and playing each day. I say that we do have a sub in today. It's Sovereign taking the place of Sheba at the moment, but you know, the longer these rosters are together, the more they can gel, the more they can, you know, get accustomed to playing with each other. And I 100%, I honestly, I think there's only one team, oh, actually no, yeah, let's say two teams that are potentially going to upset the current 6 that are on top at the moment. That is going to be First Attempt and Emergence. They're a team that has had a few unfortunate showings, despite, you know, just the absolute powerhouse that is Goria playing on that entry role. Unfortunately, he can't always be the one to carry the team over the finish line. The rest of the guys in the team, unfortunately, do make mistakes from time to time. They can't quite back him up the way that he needs to be in those situations. So there is a chance Emergence can break through. It's down to how well the rest of the team can sort of fix their issues, get themselves in and up to the play standard that Gory is setting. And First Attempt, they've had an interesting run. In all honesty, the first couple of weeks they looked rather rough. They've had the stand-ins. They've got such a great staff behind them in terms of, you know, having Stokes as a coach. The guy's a real, you know, mega mind when it comes to Rainbow Six and the analytical side of things. So you can tell they've been doing work behind the scenes. You can tell they've been working to improve, and it's coming out week after week. So if they carry on with the path that they're projected to have, I 100% see them potentially knocking out Pride or Visionary from that top six spot.
That's a good take. That's a good take, honestly. I think that if First Attempt manages to do this, they'll go from one of those, like, I think it was bottom 2 teams to take out those spots. That'll probably be one of the best storylines of the entire season. Not gonna lie, you know.
I like stories.
I do too. I think, yeah. Not much I can say more on that topic, honestly. But one thing I will touch on, though, Blue, and I'll throw this over to Keg here that can sort of shed a little bit of light on what this means exactly. But our top couple teams have cemented their rosters, particularly the Wichita Wolves. They've actually finalized their top 5. They have, I believe it is Anarchy, and then they just picked up a 5th today, and I cannot remember who it actually is. It's Iski now. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ferme, in my ear for that one. But it is Anarchy and Iski. They have finalized that one as they are going to go on for the remainder of the season. So what does that mean exactly that these top teams as well are starting to finalize those rosters?
Means
like
they
I
know
said,
how to do chemistry, man. It's all about
that
chemistry.
too. Yeah, like I said, Keg's got one of the biggest brains in Tier 3. I couldn't have put it any better. I think the biggest concern for as he shakes his head at me, I think the biggest concern for the team sitting in the bottom 6 at the moment is it's, you know, the longer they're together with that roster, they can only get stronger. Like, unless, you know, there's, you know, personal issues that come into it. But from what we've seen so far, the team's gelled reasonably well. These players that are coming in for a reason. It's not just, oh, this guy's really, really good, we'll bring him in and then see how things go. They've done their work. They've made sure that the players they're bringing on play well with the team for one. They communicate, they do their jobs. So I think, yeah, having solidified those rosters, the bottom 6 teams are going to find it that much harder to break into the top 6.
Well, all in all, that's going to make for some intense competition for the remainder of the season, which is something I'm all in for because it keeps us entertained. It keeps the viewers entertained, you know, gives you all something to talk about, gives me some questions to ask about how everything's going. So let's see here. I've got another question for you guys, and I'm going to throw this one over to Keg as well.
Oh, that's a mistake.
I don't know, man. I think you'll like this one, actually. If you had to pick a player right now in SCS to relate to a Pro League player, who do you think you would compare and why?
Okay, I feel like I have to do this in MLA formatting. Hold on. I have to
Yeah,
harness
cite
my
your
inner
sources,
English
cite
teacher
your
really
sources.
quick. Oh, jeez. I think there's a few players in SCS right now that really could take that mantle. Right off the rip, I can think of Gloria. I think
Okay.
Gloria is a really good player. I think the fundamentals are there, the fragging power is there, all of that is there. But you're not just a pro player by being a pro player on your own. A lot of what your success is in the pro league depends on the rest of your team as well. Are there exceptions? Yes, absolutely. But a lot of it too has to deal with how you gel with your team. If you're the best, most godly player to ever grace this game, and we've seen people like that in the past, but if you find yourself on a really bad team going 5-17, but the rest of your team is going -1-17, they did so bad that they lost a kill, they went under the score limit.
They're TKing each other. Like,
Yeah, they're TKing each other. Let's go with that. Then I mean, there's only so
Hey,
much you can
before
really
you carry
do.
on, a kill is
Uh-oh.
a kill regardless of where you find it.
That's you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Oh, hello, we're in
Oh,
the game
wow.
now. Okay, Panda, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to kick Rigel out, but we are going to be getting into it. It's Villa to kick things off here, Keg. We have hostile action starting off on the defense, 303 on the attack. Operator bans, pretty impactful when it comes to a game like Siege, so we're coming into it. I'm expecting a Thatcher, potentially a Maverick, maybe even that Capitao, which has been postured around, and there we go. Thatcher off the bat, no surprises whatsoever.
I am gonna go for I think it's gonna be a Nomad pick, honestly. I think it's gonna be the flank watch going down. We see a lot of flank watches, specifically almost entirely on Villa a lot. And other than that, you really just see it on Coastline, which is banned, and of course Consulate's banned too. I'm confident it's gonna be a flank watch ban.
Yeah, it has. Well, actually, no, it's going to be hard breach, so they go for the ace. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, you know, especially seeing, you know, going into the future with more operators coming out. Do we see, you know, potentially each team getting a third ban? And you might have been right if there was a third ban in the situation, but unfortunately, no. It's the new operator, Ace, or the newest operator in the comp scene, Ace, being taken out. Malusi, the counterpart in the operation, going to be banned out as well by 303, so they're going for the Steel Wave ban strategy. Coming into the final one, hostile action. There's still a couple options. There's still Mira, there's still K, there's still a couple of things that could be banned out here.
It's gonna be Valkyrie. 100% Valkyrie. Valkyrie is so powerful on this map. Again, like Consulate, also really strong. You have her throw those cams outside. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's Mira. Come on, man. What are you going to do with Mira on Villa? This isn't 2018 anymore.
I mean, there are teams that are still scared of her. She plays reasonably well on a number of the bomb sites. It's basically like being in the room without having to be in the room. You've got that added security. You just tuck a bandit battery or something down behind it. You're not going to have to worry about the wall being breached, and it just makes it that much harder. You have to go for a more significant brute force in to try and contest the bomb site. But speaking of bomb sites, it's AVG to kick us off here. It's going to be hostile action. They're bringing an interesting lineup in. Zag just taking a little bit too long there. Is currently sitting on the Oryx. I don't know if this is going to be locked in or 6-picked out. There's potential. Yeah, it's looking like a 6-pick. The operator lineup looking a little bit weaker. I'm surprised, though. It's going to be a Maestro. We're not seeing something like that Newt coming out. They've got no breach denial, which means potentially a brute force through study could happen. They're going to have to rely on those impacts to deny hunting vault as well. This is a risky call.
It could definitely be a rescue call. I don't think there's anything really on the defender's team that makes me scream, this is a big problem. The Oryx would have been a problem if we had seen it actually go into fruition. This is not an Oryx map by any means, but...
What are you talking about? He plays great.
You know what would be cool with Oryx? If you could somehow use your shoulder and, like, belly flop on the ground and be able to lift yourself up through the wooden beams of the floors you normally can't, that would be cool. But the hatches on Villa, you don't really see used too often at all. Like on Study, for example, or even the one that's reinforced down at 90. Both of those are probably the most played hatches, and not even because they're hatches. They're played because they're reinforced and people like the ADS there or just hold those angles. Hatches are not really used on Villa a whole lot. Maybe Master Bedroom too, but the Oryx is not going to converse his way through there. But we are seeing what seems to be already a little bit of a very aggressive attack coming out.
Yeah, they're all positioning themselves around that study balcony. They want to get that information in nice and early. But you look at the situation. There's no one in Hunting Vault. There's no one in Aviator at the moment. So conceivably, we could just see straight fours onto the bomb site, enabling that plant. Zag will move back into Hunting Vault to try and provide some of that cover. But already, you look at the positioning. There's a lot of priority more over towards the game side of things. There's only a minor cover, and that means Sovereign can get into study nice and early. Devils is there, so he will be spotted out. Axon is playing on the stairs as well, but there's so much ground that they could potentially lose for free here. Not to mention the fact they've already dealt with the deployable shield that was sitting on the landing. Axon is going to be a little bit less secure, but Krill, is he watching the right way? He could be, yep, that's exactly what I was expecting. Devils swings, catches Krill wanting, and that is an early frag gone.
I mean, hey, talk about ground losing. How about ground lost, old man? Get with the times. We already see Devil get one kill. SMG-11 going to the skull of Krill. That's a beautiful opening pick. You've lost out on so much soft breach potential and now relying on a buck only down below. He's going to try to do some whole model remakeovers, but even then, you don't really see that too often on a site like Aviator. There's only so many angles you can really tentatively look for, and when you're already down an attacker, you need as many bodies as you can to cover the angles upstairs. We do see Trek now, maybe having his little bit of a sense of where someone is on the back of red stairs, but no, just gonna cover the angle. The Legion's gonna get away from now, and the rest of the team's just gonna be hanging around downstairs, possibly trying to catch out any kind of flank.
Yeah, hostile action. They're battling against the positioning here. 303, they've got themselves into a great spot. Yes, there's two players downstairs, but the majority of the rest of the team, all two players of them, will be posturing around study. They can look to go for that hard push onto the bomb site should they so choose. And hostile action, they're going to have to play it careful right now. They're all stacking up here. A carefully placed nade, assuming there's no ADSs or magnets there, could spell their undoing. Even from below, potentially could make it that much harder. And Axon, he's been flushed out from behind the bar. This is the power of Track, opening up the floor, making it so hard to anchor onto the bomb site. From here, you need to play it very, very carefully. A misposition could cost them that advantage of positioning. From there, we might see that execute come out, and they're stacking up here into classical. Smoke canister does come out, but the more they use, the less cover they have, and there's only one left, so he can only cover one angle. Axon taking even more damage here. He's stuck behind the pool table as that wall has been slightly opened up. They're being contested heavily, running in. It's going to be Axon to find Silver, just trying to force their way and go for the plant. He finds himself second as well. Unfortunately, just hostile action are holding firm. They cannot contest. They will take the flawless round to kick it off. And 303, they had a great start. They just couldn't translate that into any sort of advantage.
Yeah, I mean, after the opening pick going up against Krill, you were in a really bad position. You've lost down on pretty much all your frag grenades. You've lost down on a lot of utility, say the sledgehammer, say the L1185 at your disposal. You've lost out on so much firepower. It could have been a retake if you went in from the south side, been able to go through master bedroom and just reorient yourself. But we saw 303 so hard pushed on going for this exact linear attack, going into study, going down below, that they didn't think at all, it seems, to deviate away from course. They didn't want to go away from their playbook, essentially. And they just kept on course and they got punished for it accordingly. I can only hope now that we're going to dining. We're going to see a new site instead of your typical secondary trophy. Maybe Panda 303 can bring something else up their sleeves, but we're going to have to see maybe a rush if they really want to throw hostile actions in for a loop.
Yeah, well, I mean, hostile action, they kept their cool in that last round, though. The fact they lost study early, they were losing the floor as well. The fact they still didn't go down to that heavy vertical presence 303 were bringing to the table just speaks to, you know, the fact that they can keep themselves grounded in these high-intensity situations. Hostile action now, yeah, they've gone down to kitchen dining. They're going to be playing something a little bit different rather than that traditional transition over to the split bomb site here. Bringing the pulse makes a lot of sense. It's a go-to pick on this bomb site as well. They're going to be going for a stock standard vertical hold. I'm excited to see what comes out from this, especially having Zag playing on the Goyo. There's a number of things that could go wrong in a lot of these situations, but talking about the operator picks on the attack, we talked about that flank denial. We are going to see Nomad coming out, seeing as it wasn't banned, so just as solid as the roster is, it's all going to come down to positioning and awareness for hostile action to keep this defense solid.
Well, one thing I really want to keep an eye on, Panda, is we see so much C4 potential on hostile action side. If we see 303 go in from above, there's going to be explosions galore for the rest of the round. And I'm not even talking about the arsenal that 303 is bringing out. You have Vacacious with the Ash. Of course, you have Zofia on the other side with Sovereign as well, the sub for 303. But all the C4s could be huge, especially with that cardiac sensor. That could be very destructive. And so far, hostile actions are playing them like a fiddle. We see the magnet grenades already coming down. The magnet shields are going to be blocking the way of Devil just a tiny bit, but we do see a push coming up from the bathroom. Instead, Devil holding the angle, doesn't care at all about these flash grenades. But if we see one of these attackers rush in just about now, bypassing the Zofia grenades, that's going to be the first one gone. Vacacious falls, and he's going to skedaddle out of there, Devil, because you don't want to mess with the Zofia in a refrag situation like that.
They are just finding them all over the board, but Krill there to counteract. They get 4 frags off the board early, 2 from each team. I think, honestly, this has been a bit of a misplay from hostile action. You saw early on, Dom was nowhere near the site, wasn't using that cardiac sensor to find openings for nitro cells. They've now lost Zag. They don't have the advantage they possibly could have in these situations. This is potentially going to cost them the round here. Sovereign, he's still alive, so it's Krill and Silver. They've got a way in, they've got avenues, they've got opportunities. Oh, Limbo almost takes down Sovereign with the M590 through the hole in the floor. Breaching charge goes off, will open up those long angles. Can he find anyone? Just so close, we can see it, but he can't. With a minute left, it's just Dom. He connects with the nitro cell, just playing that position perfectly, ready and willing to contest. All of a sudden, they've lost out on the frag grenade potential. They're actually contesting with guns as well. Limbo just holding firm with that M590, pulls out the SMG11, finds it anyway. And Silver is left on his own in a 1v3 with 45 seconds left. Not a drone to his name. This is going to be rough. He's got the diffuser, but no way to get into the bomb site.
You've fallen into the playbook of hostile actions again. Gonna go wham bam, thank you, man. Devil has been an absolute streak this round, pretty much. Getting, I think, a 3K. Beautiful work. Getting the opening and the exit, or I'm sorry, landing kill overall is exactly what you want to see for your hostile actions. Keep in mind, too, Panda, hostile actions is super low in SCS right now, in all things considered, up against 303. They only have 1 win in the season so far, and if they can take their second win against 303 of all teams right now, that is going to be huge for them on that gigantic scoreboard.
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a tumultuous run so far here on Villa. Given, I mean, it's traditionally what you would consider a defender-sided map. It makes a lot of sense that we're seeing this 303 roster struggle a little bit. Now we're going, though, to that what is traditionally the secondary bomb site. It's going to be split coming out. We see a lot of tools already on the side of hostile action. The aim of the game is to deny information, deny potential there. They've got a mute, they've got a mozzie. There's going to be a distinct lack of any drone work coming in. And Keg, look, we're going into round number 3. Only 2 players have died here so far for hostile action, averaging 1 death per round. The rest of the roster, Dom, Devils, and Limbo, are completely untouched right now.
But Panda, do you see what I see on 303 side?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, look what operator changed. Look which one. Which one was it?
It was a Jackal. It got 6 picked out to a Nomad. So
It
we
was
are going to see it 2 rounds in a row now.
There are no changes. There are no fundamental changes on 303 side.
He started on Jackal. There was a change. It just wasn't in the game itself.
I mean, even bringing the Jackal in this situation would be beneficial. You know by now what hostile actions wants to bring to the table. They have the pulse especially, and if you can catch out his feet, that's a lot of that cardiac sensor terror. That amount of pressure that hostile can bring out with that one operator alone, that would be so much leverage in 303's favor, but we're not seeing anything to counter besides Nomad. Sure, we didn't really see Nomad go into effect earlier, but now that we see that Nomad in action, we're not seeing them in a position that might be beneficial for 303 side. Hostile actions are running away with this.
Yeah, I mean, even an IQ would have gone a long way to help here. There's so much gadgetry in these key positions. Even the fact that, Pulse is being brought for a second round in a row. You've got to imagine that the change will come next round. Otherwise, we could see a 303 just trying to brute force their way in round after round. And it really has not been working for them so far. Actually, given that, there was a total of 2 deaths in the last round. Obviously, first round was flawless, so no one went down. And that one, there we go. Punished again. Sovereign stops moving and stops everything here. At least the refrag comes out. They find Axon taking out the Jaeger, so it's not the biggest of losses. And never mind. Vicacious has been taken out. Devils finds another onto the Nitro Cell, onto the Zofia. So the 2 entry and utility drainers on this 303 roster are now dead. This is looking worse and worse as the rounds play out.
You got to give it to Hostile, though. They've been able to make those C4s work. I think of what, the 6 we've seen so far in 3 rounds, I think only 1 has realistically missed. Others may not have been deployed, but we're looking in Closet right now. We do see Silver down below. The Mute does have a C4 as well in the Cardiac Sensor. Wonder what they're setting up there. It's gonna miss. No, their statistics are gonna go down, unfortunately. But Zang is there to get the refrag anyway. Silver's gonna fall. It's a 4v2. And 303 are struggling. They're chickens with their heads cut off. And with Devil finding Krill, it's only the Nomad left alive. Trying to make something pretty much happen out of nothing. He's able to find one, a double kill, no less. Able to almost even think out just a tiny bit more. 2v1, but it's gonna be B-site under the control of the one said Maestro. Limbo trying to have a point of angle. It's going to be a little bit of a tough situation for everybody. The ACOG is in the favor. It's going to be taking down the Maestro. Triple kill from Drac. But is Dom going to find that final action? You got to keep in mind, Panda, there's only 20 seconds left on the clock now. It's a 1v1. Now's the time for the Pulse to strike. He's been doing so much work so far. He gets on the table and knocks down the dome of Track. That's going to be a triple kill, shot down short. Almost an ace, no less. But that Pulse is there to get the money.
Yeah, I mean, it was the closest we've seen Hostile Action brought to the potential defeat, but even still, they make it work. I don't know why we saw a hard commit to the defuse. There was still a bit of a window to work with. Could have tried to bait it out, but no, just hard committed anyway. Off the back of it, though, it's a flawless bomb site rotation going the way of Hostile Action. They're looking to close up this series as quickly as possible. We head back to AVG. Dom is going to stick it out, and there we go. Oh my lord, they've just big-brained all over 303. Krill is bringing the IQ to try and counteract this pulse, and they've done the old cheeky switcheroo. They've gone for a Legion instead. Dom's bringing something else. They are just controlling this match entirely.
Well, you know what 303 did a few weeks ago, right? They did a little bit of action to in control, but it seems like now, kind of what you said, they're not really in control now, are they?
Well, at the moment,
I'll take Miami.
Where it's not the result we expected. And speaking of results, the community vote was pretty even in what I thought was going to happen here, 52-48. So
I'm honestly a little
close
surprised.
as it could possibly be. Yeah, they're still favoring 303, but watching at the moment, Hostile Action, they have not taken their foot off the accelerator whatsoever on this map. They are very much dominating the momentum of it all. Yes, Track got close. He found a triple kill, almost did some big work, but even then, Dom said, hold on, we'll slow things down. I'll wait for him to make the first move. He then just stood up on the table and trophy and got the frag anyway. And from here, they're going back to AVG, which was the bomb site they won flawlessly, if you do remember. So this is not looking great if you're a fan of 303 right now.
Well, I try my best to remember, but something I think they might have hit their head a little bit too much because we're seeing another hard commit into Master Bedroom. If you remember from Dining, this was the same exact play that they had done before. A little bit more, I guess, commitment to upstairs. We did see some folks on 303 go down below, and they were subsequently taken down relatively quickly as well. But we were seeing a hard commit into Master making their way into Astro. The drones are out too, and that's going to help a little bit more, but there's a lot of bodies inside of Classical Hallway, and it's not something we see terribly often on a defense for Villa. We did see Limbo on the 90 corner with a shield in hand, waiting for anyone to strike on by, but with so many other bodies too being a huge barrier, it's really just down to Limbo now, it seems, with that shield in play, and if the Zofia can find it while taking down some of the Magnet shields, well, this could be a round for 303. It's really going to come down to how Limbo plays this next few seconds. Oh, he runs away. Never mind.
Yeah, it was Track with a nade from below. He flushed Limbo out of position. Didn't quite kill him, but did a decent chunk of damage there. is meaning that that 90 hallway is going to be left alone for the most part. Limbo's retreated down towards that rotation into game, so they have given up some ground, not the hugest, but there's still magnets and ADSs that are in the way. They shoot one out, but the magnet's still there. Limbo, he's still having a grand old time. He's got a couple more coming his way in the next few minutes, so that is going to make it that much harder to execute on the push. They are just doing the chip damage though. Dom, he's been tagged up. There's no real significant investment that has been taken away from 303 other than a bit of utility, and there we go. They're positioning themselves. They're looking for that execute here. They want to start up that push into Hunting Vault if they can, but at the moment, they are being stalled out. There's 50 seconds left, and with Limbo holding this angle, he could catch someone just stepping back a little bit too far. Exothermic going out, Zag ready and waiting with the impact, gets the first one. They cannot risk losing out on the second one here, so they could be in a bit of trouble, and this is just looking worse and worse here. It goes out, Dom's there with one of his own, and Dom will be dropped by a frag grenade from Track. They did bait it out. Zag, he's got one left himself. Does he go for the pickup? He gives up on the impact trick. He does just miss it, so they will get Hunting Vault, but at least they get the player up.
Oh, geez. 18 seconds left. 20-second meta in full swing. We see that diffuser go onto the site, but can the shotgun match up against the smoke? No, the chaos is going to have to fall. This is an even 3v3. We see one bleeding out on the ground. He can't use his legs anymore, but the diffuser's down. Suddenly, things go topsy-turvy. It's 303 getting their first round, and Krill ending things off with a double kill of his own. Holding back like a restrained monk. Able to find a double kill, makes his way and gets that final headshot through the chaos. Through all the tides and turns, Panda, we see 303 look so much more refined, more prestige. They looked like they went in with a plan and they didn't get the early pick against them. And with that being said, they found the weakness and they pushed in at the final moments. They abused the smoke. They abused him. They made sure those smokes went out before the timer went down. If those smokes had just waited a little bit longer, Panda, we would have seen a 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it was a risky gambit there coming out of 303. They did take their time. I mean, the fact that, Dom swung onto the player going for the plant behind Vault with 5 seconds left, it really came down to the fact Krill was able to swing and find the kill onto Zag. They just averted disaster in that situation. So I think if we see 303 playing it that close to the line again, Hostile Action will be able to adapt. They will be able to abuse that fact because in a game like Siege, timing is so key. Defenders have that advantage. They can look to play the clock. Attackers, they don't have that luxury. So I think if we see that same situation coming out again, it's not going to go nearly as cleanly for 303 in the end. Krill was very, very lucky to connect on the head onto Zag, and the way he did, it's a risky play style. We'll see if they can do it again. We wouldn't be surprised at all if they did go for that same approach. Krill, he went big, he went huge where his team needed him, so hopefully they can maintain that momentum.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how 303 is going to adjust their attack style this time around. Now, a lot of teams, what they would do in this position is that they would do the same thing again, push in through Master. It worked before, so why not do it again and try to repeat history. Panda, this is tier 3. This is SCS. This is above. They know that there's a lot of adaptability involved. Panda.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing again.
Yeah, they're going for that same approach. They, look, hey, they realized that the study push didn't work, so they've gone for this. It worked once, so they're going to go for the same thing again. This time, though, Track, he's gone for a linear approach. He's obviously been watching some of the other games. He goes to the roof there, just to the northwest, almost finds that long angle all the way into the connector by Aviator, but no, not this time. No one's dumb enough to be running through there. He's going to go for that same nade from below, but Axon is here, ready and waiting to punish, sees that the window's open. He's going to swing, he goes for the shots, shuts down Track. So no chance, no hope, no dream. It does mean that 90 control is going to be there for the remainder of the round, and 303, this is where that adaptation comes in key. They've gone for the same approach, and Hostile Action have read it. They put Axon downstairs, and all of a sudden, this attack is looking infinitely weaker than it did last round.
Yeah, if you remember from before, it was Track who pushed Limbo out of his position at 90. Now Limbo has friends, and, well, they're going to get pushed out now because of a flash grenade, but it's just Vacacious there, holding a little bit of action there, but Sovereign's going to take the mantle of Track from where they originally were. If he can rappel up and maybe flush out where he thinks maybe the defenders are, that's going to be the same exact pressure, except that's going to be less pressure overall for that final push we saw going into Zombie. So overall, it's not as good of a situation that we saw before for 303, but if they can adapt around this and maybe find a trade within, oh, I don't know, the next 15, or I guess if you're looking that time, or 55 seconds, well, then maybe they'll have a good chance. And yes, a trade they do not find. In fact, it's a reverse trade. It's not optimal at all. But, well, just he'll get it eventually. He gets it eventually.
He stares the bane of hostile action in the face while he reloads and gets the kill. Doesn't bother switching to the secondary, just does it anyway. Takes his time, psychs him out, and Sovereign at least will get the kill back onto Limbo. Axon drops him for his trouble, but Silver is there. But it feels more like a situation where it's a little bit too little too late. Silver goes down, the older 5.56 connecting big. Exothermic charge will go out, as will the goo mines into the leg of Vicious, and the toxic canister just choking him out. Danger from above and below. He's still alive though. 40. Well, sorry, so much time already left on the taken away on the clock. Sorry, but Devil will swing out of hunting. But my brain stopped working for a moment there. But Vicacious didn't have the time he needed. They definitely didn't read into that approach the same way they did in round number 1. And as a result, yeah, I think that's hostile action. Reading what didn't work in the previous round and making those key changes.
All right, well, we did have one person leave, so that's not a very good sign. I don't know. Is it me, or does it feel like Villa gets a disproportionate amount of rehosts? No particular reason. It just feels like it always happens on Villa. Oh, he's back. Never mind. I'm dark magic, I guess. I'm just evil. Everything I say, the opposite happens.
We do see a couple of changes coming in. Dom is going to be heading back to the pulse, and Krill is going to be sticking with that Armoru. So, final round of the half, they are changing things up a little bit. I believe that it was potentially for a skin or something. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just that momentary disconnect and he got himself back in, but Keg, we're coming into round number 6. It's going to be kitchen dining once again. We see the terror duo of Limbo and Dom running Pulse and Mute. This is a situation where, again, 303 cannot afford to stop moving.
They really can't afford to stop moving, and this has been a commonality so far for Hostile Action's defense. We've seen Dom be the ringleader with these C4s, able to guide Limbo and Zag through these kills. It was Zag short on the Mute last time before, missing the C4 towards the very end, but he got the upwards trajectory kill from down below into Master, finding those bullets into the shins of, I think, Vicacious, and killing them. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Krill, though, because Krill with the Amaru could be a big playmaker here for an early rush, or at least an early frag on to, say, Devils or Zag, but seemingly that Amaru's nowhere to be seen. I'm curious to know where they're going to be. Oh, there they are. They're going to be rushing through study, not using the repeller at all. So already going inside without using the gadget tells me, Panda, that maybe we could see some hatch action like you would see on Oryx normally on the defense, but she's an attacker, but she can still go up the hatches.
Yeah, it's an interesting attempt. There's no real hatch play that can be achieved on the site. In fact, the only hatch that would have been impacted at all would have been into study itself, and given that that's not really a position that has been contested at all, it feels like maybe potentially a little bit of a wasted pick. As a result, you know, they're going for the same approach. They're going in through Master Dom. He's done his thing once again. Nitro Cell out, takes out Vicacious. That's exactly how it's played out previously on this bomb site. In fact, you know, they're just going to find more. Limbo down below, he does them dirty, finds the hard breacher. Silver now gone. That's only one Nitro Cell committed. In fact, Limbo got it with the shotgun, having opened up that hole in the floor below the window. This is hostile action, completely understanding, completely counteracting the play that is coming from 303.
How many C4 kills do you think we'll see this round? We've already seen one. There's only 2 more we could possibly see. But no, never mind, a double kill from Track. Where did that happen? Well, that's all going to be upstairs, it seems. It's going to be suddenly the tide's turning in 303's action. The defenders, the last ones alive, are going to be downstairs, but those Goyo shields gotta go. They have full upstairs control. They're going to be blowing open whatever they can to get angles going down below, but there's only one C4 left between these 2 last defenders. It's going to be Limbo now. I think he still has his C4 in his possession. If he doesn't, And well, then this is going to be significantly harder with a lot of the soft reach down below, but he's had a lot of luck with these upwards kills as well. I'm curious to see what the next actions 303 are going to be, but with only 45 seconds, all they're going to really do is bait out the time and positionings that we see from Hostile to see maybe if they can just fall right into their lines of sight.
Yeah, there's 30 odd seconds left on the clock and 3 players left alive. It's one of the better spots that 303 has found themselves in so far. But Dom, he's ready and waiting. Oh, he swings but loses out to Sovereign. The M762 is just better on the day. The biggest problem now, though, is that they've got to find Limbo. They do it anyway. He finds a track first, though. Sovereign coming in big when his team needed him. This sub coming in and doing some real work means that the half isn't nearly as scary for 303 as it could have looked going off the first. And going into the second half, 303, they might be able to bring it back and get things to an even point.
I mean, having a 4-2 split being the 2 on the attack isn't the worst thing in the world. Villa's in a weird spot where it's slowly kind of becoming a little bit more attacker favored at times. Obviously, in attack shooter, it's never going to fully be attacker favored for the most part, but what we have been seeing has been a lot of aggression, a lot of overwhelming of the defenses, and just taking down a lot of utility at the very ends of the round. When 303 can do that, they're able to do that so well. And one thing, Panda, I'm sure you've noticed too, is that when we see 303 get kills, they don't just get one, they don't just get a trade. They're able to string it together. Multiple kills, track with a double kill last round, no less, was a fantastic example of that. But they're lacking consistency.
Yeah, we have had a rehost called, unfortunately. So Rigel, welcome back. Going into the
Hello.
second half, it's been an interesting run already.
I would say so. I mean, Hostile Action's looking absolutely hostile, especially on some of those opening kill scenarios too, like we saw in Bedroom especially. But I'm just excited to see where the second half goes because we did see that 4-2 split, you know. So if anything, if it continues and 303 does the exact same thing in reverse this time, we might be seeing an overtime here. And with Villa, it's pretty expected. But what do you guys think? You've obviously been in the front seat. What are you guys thinking about this one so far?
Look, there seems to be a slightly better understanding of the map coming out the way of Hostile Action. They understand how 303 have largely approached that same bomb site a couple of rounds in a row now. They understood it reasonably well in Aviator Games. I think just the gunplay, the mechanical skill is that much better for 303. That's why they won the 2 rounds they did. They just went swinging, found some very, very big frags, and as a result, they finally got themselves on the board. Unfortunately, you know, you can't just rely on fragging potential alone to win out a map. So I think there is a very real possibility where the flexibility that is available for Hostile Action completely undoes the strategy coming out from 303, who so far have been pretty linear and pretty, you know, rigid in the way they approach.
One thing I'm curious about when it comes to SCS and Villa is that the longest game we've ever seen in SCS was on Villa itself, and that was a really big blowout in the beginning. I believe it was... I'm not even going to try, but what we did see was a huge scoreline in the beginning for one team. It was disproportionate, almost sort of like Hostile Actions. I want to say it was even 5-1, but then it was brought back by the other team, then it was brought back again, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until 24 rounds in.
Very true.
24. I think when it comes to Villa and SCS, we cannot discount anybody or anything just yet. 303, sure, are down 2 rounds, but now they're going to be in the driver's seat, like we say, on the defense. And you know for a fact they're not going to bring 3 C4s, they're going to bring 4 to try to outman and outdo a Hostile Actions, pretty much embarrassingly punish them for in the first half.
Well, if Chief was here, I know for sure exactly what he'd be saying in response to that, Keg, and I think you all probably know as well. It's Nitro Cell Bonanza, and, you know, as much as Chief gets his copy paste with the M870 ACOG and all that fun stuff, I can actually get behind the Nitro Cell one. That's a pretty fun thing to say about some of those situations. So I'm excited to see the explosions go for sure. It's always great to get one of those Nitro Cell kills, and I believe, you know, that was evidenced here by Hostile Action. So 303 is really going to have to pull it out of the bag. But I will agree with you, Keg, that, you know, I sort of get stuck on the old metas. I sort of get stuck on saying, like, oh, it's going to be a 4-2 split. You know, that's what Villa is known for. When this season in SCS, like you guys have said, it's just been too toss up of a map. You know, you can't really say anything. Like, sure, you can talk about Clubhouse and say it's going to be a certain way, or you can talk about, you know, when we've seen Coastline, it's always going to be just sort of a frag fest. But for here, yeah, you guys are completely right. It's anyone's game.
Well, that's why Villa's the best map in Siege.
I have to agree.
Ooh,
Like a lot of
hold,
hate Villa.
hold on.
You're not agreeing
no.
with me? That's
No,
why you're the bottom box.
100%.
You're the bottom box for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to disagree. Villa,
No.
it's an alright map. I'm not gonna dog it too much, but there's no way it is the best map in Rainbow Six Siege. Everyone knows that it is Coastline. It's just a phenomenal match to watch. And
Oh God.
look,
You're
as
so
a caster,
close, Panda.
I 100% love Coastline. As a player, I prefer Club. Honestly, I just think
Oh
that
no.
You're
yeah.
so close, Panda. That's the second best map. You
No.
have them reversed.
I just
Panda, no.
Villa, it's all right. It's nothing spectacular.
Someone installed your brain backwards. It's Coastline 2, Villa 1.
Nah,
I
nah.
wouldn't
Do
It's
we
go
need
number
a
one.
brain technician out here for you?
I think we need a brain technician for both of you guys putting Coastline that high. My God.
What?
Wow,
Yeah,
You're the
wow.
top box.
No, hey, well, because you know I am God himself. No, I'm just kidding. But in any case, I know Keg's a better desk host than
Look,
I am. So
hey, look. At
call me
least I'm
out.
sure we can all agree on one thing. At least it isn't Outback,
Oh,
because
God,
no
oh,
one
yeah.
wants that.
Steakhouse.
I would much
hungry.
rather go to the Outback and get my you know $18 you know steak, shrimp, and crab combo instead of go to Outback and play a ranked match on it. You know, like 100%. I would rather spend my own money than play a ranked game on Outback. And tweet right there. That's
Send tweet.
yeah.
Hey, look, as someone who used to live in the Outback, yeah, I can guarantee you that anyone who's going there to eat spent 3 hours driving there, so it's probably not worth going there for.
Did you meet Mozzie?
I've played with Martin Copping a few times. That's about it.
Okay.
Did you meet Gridlock?
No, she's a bit busy.
Oh.
What is she
Well, then
busy
I don't
doing?
care.
Not working
Secret
out?
missions, like
Secret
Christ,
missions?
she works for the SAS. Like they're doing all sorts of stuff right
Oh,
now.
I
at the moment.
forgot that Australia called theirs the SAS as well. You know, or do they? Or is that right?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
the SAS.
Okay, I was gonna say because I know they base a lot of their military doctrine off of Britain, obviously, just because, obviously,
Well,
where they came from.
one is an export of the other. So
I don't know. I don't want to like give this much of a hot take, but which one is superior? Do you think, Australia or Britain? Obviously, you're New Zealand, so you have a little bit of impartiality between the two. But what do you think? Who's superior, British? You know,
when it comes to rugby, I'd have to say Australia.
I
obviously.
think all people are equal,
yeah.
man.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know about
People,
that.
obviously, but we're just talking, things to do, nation, stuff like that.
I don't
We're not
know.
talking people here, I don't know.
Rugby league fans, they're a different breed as well. But coming into this, we have just had confirmation. We're almost back in the lobby. Keg, you've been the unfortunate victim of a couple of hot takes so far. We're going into what is going to be the second half of the map. Can 303 bring it back on the defense?
I'm fairly confident in 303 bringing it back. Of course, me cursing them now means that they're not going to make it. But overall, I think the defense is going to be in their favor. They have probably a good game plan going into it. And I'm expecting a lot more C4 play coming out as well. And if we don't see any of that C4 play, well, then they missed out on all the action. That's always the best part of any kind.
Yeah, and there has been plenty of it. I mean, there's been rounds where they've just been able to connect using that pulse, using the mute. It's going to be interesting to see if 303 are they're going to go for the same approach, try and achieve the same thing with the nitro cells, and yeah, sure enough, 3 on the board potentially. I don't see why it wouldn't be nitro cells, but the interesting thing that I'm looking at, Axon, he's going to be running the Iana, so similar to what Devils is bringing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's the ARX though that she's going to be wielding. Very, very powerful operator, huge information potential. This could be it's the G36. So Ash 2.0 coming out here for Axon.
If you remember way back to around July of this year, Esco in T3 was huge with Iana and frag grenade kills going down below. You pop that sucker in your hand, you throw it up in the ceiling exactly somehow always where the defender was going to be, and they would just blow to smithereens. It was so unpredictable. It bypassed all the Wamais, all the Jaegers, all the ADSs, and it was a crucial part of Eska's team. Of course, before he went to PL, but now with Accent, we may very well see that same kind of terminology, that same sort of philosophy come out here. And I'd be very surprised if we don't see almost what seems to be a reverse C4 coming from the attackers.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of interesting scenarios that could play themselves out. But with Iana trying to have to duck around the mute jammer, this could be a very interesting one to say the least. You know, that's that free information coming in. You throw in the gemmer replicator. If you're smart, you'll have someone playing just off the shoulder of it as well, so they can swing in and find some frags, try and utilize it similarly to how a shield is played. But already there is some destruction coming out. The air jab as well being placed on the study door. So anyone that might try and go for a contest, they're going to be shoved back, not going to be able to control the situation as much as they'd like. And there's a number of things that, you know, it's already good to see hostile action. They're setting themselves up for when that initial push does come, they have a bit of security.
I'm really curious to see what Sovereign's going to do on the back of these red stairs. He's in a great position to maybe even find the Nomad right now, but it seems like with the air jab down, he's going to have an indicator of where an attacker may be, but pushing it would be a death sentence. We do see a lot of downstairs control coming out from from Hostile side. It's going to be Limbo down inside Art Gallery and a lot of different placements in a gigantic chess game of this round. But we're not seeing any action yet, and this is a distinct lull in the game that we haven't really seen when the sides were reversed. Of course, 303 on the attack too, Panda. They played a slow game, but this one seems unusually and almost deviously slow until Limbo finds that first kill. Track's going to go down, and the Mute's not able to expel that C4. That's going to push back the smoke. He's going to go back into bar, reinforce it up, and we're going to see full-on turtle action.
Yeah, it's not to mention it's the SMG11 and the M592, very, very good guns when you've got some angry woman with an assault rifle running at you. Can be great for playing around those tight angles.
Yeah.
At the moment, there's a minute or just over a minute left. You can see that 303 are calling in the reinforcements, just slowly working their way over. Vicacious come to join the party. Krill goes for a bit of a swing. If he's not paying attention though, well, he does anyway. Finds Accent caught wanting, not caught out by the air jab either, so he's going to be happy and safe for the moment. Devils going to be looking for the frag onto the stairs, doesn't quite spot him out, somehow survives, activates the 3-speed and disappears off the screen. And Vicacious chimes in with the P10 Aroni. Honestly, one of the best guns in Rainbow Six. No one can tell me I'm wrong. Don't at me. It's not even worth the argument. Vicacious, he's still alive. He's still holding 90. And time is just dwindling for hostile action.
Now, my main question is, what is the plan for hostile action here? We see them all over the place. Devil's in the back of the site. They're trying to go in for a gigantic pinch, but I'm thinking they might be biting a little bit more than they can chew. Devils is going to find Sovereign and gets a double kill, no less. Vicacious is able to find one sandwiched in between, but sure, you're down to a 2v2. With only 2 people left alive on both sides, we're seeing a huge repeat way back around round, I think, 5, with Silver able to find one, and that's going to be the round over. That diffuser never hit the ground, and the timer, best defender in the game, of course, going to be the winner of them all. And the smoke grenade kill, too, to top everything off, Panda. That's exactly what you want to see going into the second half.
Yeah, just like being a university student, time management is an important skill to be picking up. And unfortunately for hostile action, time management was not in the position it needed to be for them. They took so long to go for that contest. By the time they were there, they had to brute force under the site. There was so much utility left for 303 that the stall was going to be happening regardless of the situation. Not watching their cross angles, there was a number of mistakes that came out of hostile action. Now, though, we're going to be heading to split, pretty stock standard in the rotation of things. Once again, pretty, actually, almost picture perfect operator lineup coming out. I think they only changed instead of actually, no, Goyo was there last time.
Yeah.
Who they brought? Maybe they didn't play. No, this is so the Maestro for the Jaeger instead. So that they've opted from it's a lateral move. In all honesty, they've gone from a deterrent to another deterrent. One using smoke canisters, one's using lasers and a giant machine gun. So it's not too much of a deviation.
Oh yeah, totally not a deviation. Sounds like it's like a sci-fi novel and like a biography you're talking about. If you had no context of Siege. I'm curious though to see how hostile action can get around this attack, because we've seen 303 on the attack go for pretty lateral and very front-loaded and I guess linear movements when it comes to their rounds. Hostile Actions, I really feel like they were almost directionless in that last round. They didn't really have a concise plan, and when they were shut down right off the rip, they really had no idea what they wanted to do. They scattered. We saw a pinch coming out from Devil, and they managed to get a double kill to help even things out a little bit. But even then, you relied on the same fragging power that 303 failed to capitalize on when they were on the attack as well.
Capitalization is, I mean, it's another one of those tools that teams need to understand, need to be able to pick up so that they can, win these rounds out. And 303, they may not be the most, one of the teams that's less prone to adaptation on the fly. That takes them a little bit longer to get there, but once it does tend to work for them. And now as we head into round number 8, we're one round away from evening things up. Hostile Action, they came into this series with a lot of vim and vigor, get the flawless road. Win on the bomb sides. Now coming into the second half, they lost the wind in their sails. They're not nearly as forward thinking, forward moving as we've seen previously, and it just feels like they've stalled themselves out a little bit. They're not quite sure what to do. Hopefully they can bring things back, fill those sails, get some wind going for them, and get some forward movement. But look, they're still having to drone out and then figure out these positions. They don't have anyone who's able to capitalize on them. So yes, that information's good to have, but there's no one able to act on it. And in that situation, you might as well just be running to the bomb site face first.
Look, Panda, I'm no psychologist, but it feels like already we're seeing a lot of hesitation coming out from Hostile when it comes to just even entering onto the map. They're taking their time, and it's almost too much time. Look at this. They're playing so slow, and they're not able to capitalize on anything. We're still seeing Zag just outside on the drones, and sure, maybe you're aiding Devils a little bit too, but we're not really seeing this on the camera at all. Devils gonna be looking around for the roam clear. Sovereign has his number if Devils pushes out of that room, but all things considered, this is just not a round for Hostile Actions in terms of raw placements. And if it continues like this, I really think we're gonna see an even 4v4.
And just chip damage being done, and it's Axon to open up first. Finds Vicacious. That's a Mossy going down. Utility off the board, those pested up drones as well being gone. And, he's just going to take the head lead off of Sovereign crawling across the bar. They get 2 big picks with only 30 seconds left, though. They have to be very aggressive and very, proactive about how they translate that exit. In fact, is just going to be doing it all himself. He sees his teammate gunned down. God. Yeah, there we go. He's found 4. Unfortunately, the ace is stolen away, but Limbo helps Hostile Action come back into it with a bit of meaning. And now they are just 2 rounds away from closing out this first map.
Fantastic work from Hostile Action. I mean, fantastic work from Axon. A 4K when I really did not expect to see really many more than maybe a single kill coming out from Hostile in that round. They're now ahead 2 rounds, and they're able to play around these sites a lot more effectively. They didn't win Dining before. In fact, we haven't really seen Dining before until this in the first half. So I'm curious to see if they're able to extort themselves around a little bit. We did see a lot of C4 action last time, and it seems like nothing really much is changing in the terms of 303, but we do see that pulse, and seems like 303 wants to get a little bit of revenge this time.
Yeah, well, they need to build on that 1 round. 1 more, they get themselves a point. They then guarantee them a bit of security, at least having overtime on the board. But as we head downstairs, we're going to see the pulse and the mute come out once again. No read coming from Hostile Action. They aren't going to respect that. They aren't going to bring an IQ. But with the players and the utility on the board, it's largely the same as we saw previously. In fact, it's all but 1 operator different. No Mozzie, just a pulse. So this time round, we'll see if they can pull it out. They want to get those rounds on the board. They want to get things back to even, give themselves a shot at closing out the map. But we could quite conceivably see overtime making an appearance and then rounds being traded back and forth, because no team here at the moment has been the clear front runner. It's been incredibly even so far.
Yeah, I mean, I would say right now, if we had to choose a team, it would be Hostile as the front runner. But going into the second half, 303 looks so much more confident in their playstyle. And now it could be because they're on the defense, but we've seen Hostile on their attacks be really not so confident when it comes to these initial engagements. Once they're in the map and near the bomb site, things warm up a little bit more. But we saw a huge over-reliance of Axon that last round. A quad kill is not something you could rely on every single round. Now, the round before that, we saw Axon get picked off immediately, and we saw a huge loss for Hostile. And that was another round for 303, putting them at that third round. Now 2 rounds away. I'm curious to see now, and if we can watch Axon for a little while, I really want to know if he's able to maintain his 4K streak.
Well, it looks like they're going from the south to north clear here on the first floor. They're not really going upstairs and playing that verticality, not wanting to contest here. I think maybe this could be them actually reading into the fact that a pulse has been brought on the board. X-Kairo's going to be set up, trying to open up that pantry stairs wall. Might be able to contest with the bomb site, but the impacts are there. Silver has used both of them until the X-Kairo's off the board. The final set will be opening that angle up. Unfortunately, it's not going to give as much information as I think they would have liked, but hey, it's better than nothing. And start to hold off that angle into kitchen, deny anyone rotating over to provide support. And I mean, it's those situations in the dying moments rounds where you forget that there is an angle and you back into it and you get gunned down that can cost you. And that's a pretty smart read from Hostile.
We do see Track in a pretty prime position and maybe find an opening pick here from the bottom of the Astro stairs, but it looks like he may have backed off. Sovereign instead is able to find Just Dom. That's going to be the Iana drone looking towards the top of Astro to see if Track had rotated. And I'm not entirely sure where his positioning is now, but Axon's able to keep the streak going. He's able to find Silver, trading it back, but it looks like Track is there to find some more blood. It's a back and forth now between these two teams, and now the attackers on the bomb site, these defenders are seemingly absent. There's 4 of them still left alive, and they're going to play peekaboo, but they see you if you're Axon, and a little bit of that damage is going to go and collide into their skulls. But not too much, though. Track's able to find a double kill. That's going to be 2 on the board for him, but with that diffuser still not down just yet. Flash grenades are going to go down, and that plant needs to go into play. But no, a triple kill from Track is going to go into effect. Can he get that 4K? Can we see 2 4s in a row? The answer is going to be no. Track's going to fall in still a 1v3. We could very well see a quad kill coming out from Devil himself. That diffuser, though, is not down, and if you're smart, you're going to play the game a little bit more against the timer and try to stall out this attacker, or at least bait them out into that planting position. But no, instead they're going to walk into bullets, and Krill's able to find Devils. 303 are going to come much closer now, Panda, to even things out. 5 and 4, and what we saw before in that first half is a far cry than the closeness that we see now.
Yeah, it's definitely 303 pushing back against that momentum that was built by Hostile Action early on. Axon, he finds one in this round, but then goes down once again. They had so much control that they then conceded because they weren't playing off of the same position. They were so spread, there was no real cover, and it was left to Axon to cover as Devils went for the plant. And unfortunately, when you're trying to battle up against 3-4 players, there's only so much you can do, and yeah, as a result, he was gunned down. We now head into round number 10. It's going to be AVG coming up once again. There is a real possibility that 303 can clinch up those next the next 3 rounds and deny them here and close out this map for themselves.
Luckily, though, we do have Infinite Overtime, right?
Look, as much as I am a fan of Infinite Overtime,
I mean, sleep is for the weak, right, Panda?
It's not even about sleep. Oceanic Nationals relegations are on right now, and the qualifiers, so I'm keen to see what happens. So hopefully we see this not go to 30 rounds of overtime. That'd be good. That'd be a situation that I would be okay with, but I still want to see some good Rainbow Six before we do hit the end of the series.
I do want to focus on Track, though. He was able to get that triple kill that last round, but he's been playing a quiet game on the defense otherwise. He's been playing on the mute quite a bit. He's playing a much more relegated, more supportive role and trying to let everyone else frag out, but that's also part of the story of 303. I wouldn't say there's necessarily a huge fragger when it comes to their defense either. There's no one really going to go for these deep flanks except for maybe Sovereign. Sovereign hasn't really found that action yet either. Maybe once in that last round, sure, but it was quickly traded out by Axon.
And as we head into the thick of things, Devils knows there's a player on the stairs. Breaching charge goes out, destroys the shield, and leaves things hot on the heels of Sovereign as he runs back up the stairs. And as they are getting themselves ready to go for this execute, this is a much better situation that we see Hostile Action in now. They are going to set themselves up in a much better position to go for the execute, and with that time, they get actually no, never mind. They look like they were gearing themselves up but they're so worried about someone being downstairs that they've taken that focus off the stairway, taken their focus off where that inevitable push will be going, and the only player they're looking for is Vicacious, really, at the
Yeah, Vicacious is playing like a little mole rat right now, hiding underground, waiting to see who's going to spring up first. Of course, Track's not too much different. He's going to try to blend in with the carpet too, but we're seeing a lot more action on these classical stairs, and if Devils can push up, Sovereign's going to back off, all things considered. That's a terrible move, because now Devils has full control of those main stairs. Pushing up, I don't think anyone's inside Study. No one's there to contest it. That's full control over Study. The Thermite is using the exothermics on the wall. You have fundamentally given up control of the site while remaining on the site still. Axon, of course, is going to peek in with that G36. You might as well. And we're going to see the rest of hostiles surround the site. Track's able to find Devils, sure. But can this be an early trade? The answer could be yes, depending what the Zofia does next. Limbo is going to be looking around, trying to go for some free fires, but unfortunately can't find those shots either. The only thing, Panda, stopping hostile right now are these toxic babes.
Well, Axon, is going to bring it back even with a kill on. They lose the smoke with time ticking away. That's probably the worst operator they could lose, but Krill's in a great spot, swings! Finds 1.5, but Track's there to finish off Dom. They lose Axon. It's all left down to Limbo, and there's nothing he can do. This is what happens when you do not watch your angles. They are able to capitalize, they are able to punish, and Hostile Action gave that round away for free.
I mean, all things considered, the setup was there for Hostile, but they didn't peek their corners. They didn't turn around, and we saw that double kill come by and mow them down. That was a great play. Great turtling, all things considered, but giving up that Study control was such a collar tugger for me, because that's a risky maneuver, especially when you don't have a Kaid or a Bandit, or I guess seemingly even a Mute without jammers on these walls. You're giving up full control for that exothermic or any hard breach to open up the site and give you so many angles as an attacker. But they had one angle that they didn't check, it seems, and we saw the swingers be swung, baby, and swung they were.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And we head to split once again. It's been an interesting. The last time round, it did go the whole way of Hostile Action. They were able to pull it out of the bag in round number 8. So there is potential that they can do this again, get themselves map point first, but with the standings, with the situation both teams find themselves in, 303 have got more momentum to work off. They're 100% in the driver's seat, 100% able to take this away from Hostile Action despite that great start. And with everything on the board, with everything in play, I've just got to wonder: can Hostile Action keep up any momentum? Or are they just going to have to keep relying on Axton to lead the charge?
One thing I've noticed too is that Hostile Actions haven't been able to string together any rounds in the second half. 303's been able to, not as effectively as Hostile did in the first half, but they're able to string rounds together regardless. Otherwise, Hostile is just kind of banking on their old money, Gatsby style. They're banking on what they did in that first half to try to maybe carry themselves over to that finish line. But 303, they're starting to wake up a lot more. They're looking more refined. They're making these aggressive plays that we didn't even see in the beginning of the second half. And now we're seeing them blossom, essentially. But let's focus on this round now. We do have Devils pushing up through Classical Hallway. Not going to find anybody right off the rip, but the reinforcements in Aviator are going to try to slow them down just a tiny bit. But only slow them down for so much. Sovereign's going to fall already. Limbo's going to find that instead. Beautiful angle from 90, no less. But Devils is now able to watch red stairs. And if we do see the rotate that Track loves to do, Panda, that's going to be a 5-2, a 5-3.
Yeah, losing Sovereign early. He has been the one to find a couple of kills that, have been rather impactful. Hopefully they are going to be able to manage without him. See all the ground needed. That initial hold that you set up for unsplit over towards AVG is designed to slow down the momentum of a team. And Hostile Action, they've taken quite convincingly. They're looking to march on towards that bomb site. And we only see one player below, if I'm correct. I could be wrong. No, sorry, they're all stacked. No, they're all stacked up on the bomb site right now. I believe. I think. Yeah, they're all stacked up on the second floor. There's no verticality coming into it. There's no nitro cell play coming from 303, and that's something that could be punished. the fact that both two of the three Nitro Cell operators are stacked up on the same side. Vicacious could conceivably take out his own teammate accidentally. And he's already used his SOA's track, so it's all on Krill at the moment. Good thing he's in front. But Track, speaking of, he finds Axon, takes down the first. He's holding it aggressively in Master Bedroom. They are just contesting at the forefront, denying that entry into the building. And already, this is a much harder push than maybe Hostile Action anticipated.
Axon was able to get a 4K last time we saw them on Trophy, and now being the first attacker gone, this is really worrying for Hostile Actions. Limbo's able to find Krill. That's gonna be a double kill for him. He's on fire this round. Eliminating the Goyo, finding the Jaeger. There's only 3 left now for his small little hit list, and there's only 30 seconds left. Dom's gonna push on through. He's gonna be having control of A site, but what Devils has is a pinch. Where's the rest of the defenders? Well, one's on the ground. Zang's able to find a double kill for Zag, no less. Where's the Maestro? Well, I can tell you the Maestro is a triple kill death themselves. As Limbo's able to find Silver, it's gonna be another round beautifully put in the favor of Hostile Actions into match point. 2 triple kills wouldn't make sense here, so it's gonna be a triple and a double that we saw this round coming from Hostile, and Panda, they're looking really good at finding these angles.
Well, it's 2 rounds in a row where Split has been taken away by Hostile Action despite the setup, and that's a call and a half, Devils. But hey, we're going down to Kitchen Dining. It's been a little bit better for 303, so there is a reality that we see this tied up. It's down to Hostile Action. Can they push it over the edge? Can they deal with this resistance that has been coming out of 303? With the Valkyrie on the board, they are going to switch it out. Okay, so it's probably going to be heading over to that Pulse, I would imagine. Although largely they feel the same. Well, no, it's going to be a Mozzie instead, so it's more information denial at the end of the day.
I would either go with the Pulse or the Valkyrie in this instance. Normally you see the Valkyrie almost exclusively on Trophy, right? But having the Valkyrie there could be a really beneficial object too, especially when there's a lot of top-down control for the attackers. Having that camera outside, say, or even on the top floor near bathroom, Astro, Trophy, that would be perfect for the C4s you have on the board. But no, instead they go and up for the Mozzie, which yes, does have one of the 3 C4s we do see. I'm still curious to see if this is going to be the best maneuver for 303 to make. I'm a little hesitant to say yes.
Well, there's a lot that could go wrong here once again. Last time round though, they still found the frags anyway. As we're setting up downstairs, action phase will begin. Krill, where is he going to put himself? It looks like they are looking to hold down a little bit of that first floor, use those Nitro Cells where they can, try and do some significant damage, but you see the stack up from Hostile Action. They're going to try and brute force their way into Master Bedroom, in through walk-in and Master Bathroom as well.
But they're going to take all the Masters.
They're taking all the mastery here at the moment, but Attractive, he's in position, so is Silver from below. They could look to upset this if they really want to, and actually, you just see how hesitant Hostile Action are. They've got drones, but no one's going too deep with them. They're holding them back, relying on having that information available, rather than utilizing those drones to get the information and then acting on it. So, I mean, that's time taken away. It's wasted utility. It's something that could cost them going into the dying moments.
Having Sovereign and Track upstairs no less, well, okay, maybe just Sovereign upstairs is kind of a dangerous situation too for Hostile. If Sovereign's able to find these kills, never mind, he's going to drop down below instead. Vicacious is going to rotate up through Astro, and this could be a chance of redemption there. Maybe to find a refrag against Track, but already finding the Mute, and that's going to be huge. Losing your Mute this early into the round, I don't even know why Track was playing upstairs, but it could have been nasty if Sovereign backed them up. Instead, though, we do see a split push coming down. 3 upstairs, 2 down below. They're going to try to split push this like a crab claw and see and grab whatever they can. Of course, the rest of the crab claw is going to turn into a single prong as they try to make their way downstairs a little bit and find angles. But right now, you're already down a person on 303 side. You have to rely and try to find this trade almost immediately. And with those C4s, or at least the one you still have left, you're in a prime position to do so, especially if we see encroachment into the laundry room. But Panda, with Krill able to find that trade, maybe, just maybe, we could see OT.
Axon was just staring at the back of someone's skull, but because of those metal bars, then That's not quite the kill that they were looking for. He saw the ankles off the backside of it as well.
Oh boy.
At the moment, it's still reasonably close. It's 4-4. They haven't established a real significant advantage. They lose out Axon. Well, at least a decent chunk of health, so anything that he gets involved in could be death in an instant. And Limbo, he's locked out at the moment. There we go, Axon's down, finished off by Krill. They're looking good, and oh my lord, Limbo goes down. Krill's found a triple, Silver finds another one. All of a sudden it's 4 versus 1, Dom's left alone. We are going to be heading 303, bring it back from a 4-2 half deficit. Both teams picking up that 4-2 half on the defense. Unfortunately, for Hostile Action, despite their great start, it doesn't amount to anything.
I don't understand why Hostile Actions went upstairs. They didn't play off of it at all. They found Track, but I mean, they wouldn't have found Track unless he was upstairs to begin with. They had that vertical action. That's what you do on Dining, and there was no vertical action at all. They were upstairs. They toyed around for a little bit. They played with their thumbs. They got Track. Sure, Sovereign rotated out. Otherwise, everyone else downstairs just got melted right off the rip, and everyone upstairs did survive to be the last ones alive, sure, Panda, but we did not see anything go into fruition from there. No rotates, no trades, no refrags. It was, like you said, a waste of time.
Yeah, you try your best, but you don't succeed. You get what you want, but not what you need, and unfortunately, Hostile Action didn't get a damn thing going into the final round of regulation time. They closed it out there, but no, at least both teams will be walking away with points from this map, and at the situation both teams find themselves in, that's nothing to sneeze at. They're both needing them at this situation. But we head into the opener of OT. It's going to be 303 that start themselves up on the defense, which could indicate that they might be able to close this overtime out, having that advantage of the defensive rounds. But in saying that, Hostile Actions, they've proved themselves reasonably competent when it comes to understanding the map, so they could just as easily bring it back themselves. But AVG, it's a pretty well-known bomb site. It's pretty well understood as well, so I mean, it's on knife's edge at the moment as to which way it goes.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've seen this be around for Hostile Actions, or coming pretty close to being one, but then 303 went for the gigantic swing, and they won it in their favor. Again, close calls like that are hard to measure to say this is going to definitively be in, like, 303's favor. It could very well still be, but it could also be, you know, the reverse just as easily. Devil, though, going to be playing downstairs, looking for that early roam clear. Of course, Track and Sovereign do like to play away from the site. They like to go from below. Track is going to be playing down off-site, like I mentioned, but instead he's going to be playing upstairs, possibly going to try and chase down the Zofia once he's aware of people being upstairs. Krill's not too far behind either end. Limbo's really tiptoeing his way through, checking every corner, trying not to make the same mistake he did the last time it was Aviator. But you notice down on Astro 2, someone's waiting to see those footsteps stop moving and maybe some explosions coming into play.
Yeah, first minute burn. At the moment, it's Vicacious. He might...
Oh, there he is! Whoa! There we go, Vicacious.
Limbo.
Oh, there you're back. You're back. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was here the whole time. Unfortunately, my mic is just having some issues. Yeah, Vicacious just swings in, finds the frag on a Limbo who was more focused on the camera, and Dom as well. He finds himself in a bit of a bind. The Track has his number. It's really whether it translates into a kill, and it does for Dom. He backs himself behind the desk and is able to find it, but Vicacious is still on the hunt. The bodacious little Aussie that he is, he's found some big impact on the round, taking out both entries, both utility dump operators. He's going to get himself back downstairs, look to impact things from below with that nitro if he can. And all of a sudden, Hostile Action, again, they find themselves in that spot where they're looking very, very much weaker on this given side, and this could cost them OT.
Action's not going to be on the Yana anymore either. We're seeing the sledge pick, and I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, this should be the first sledge or first operator swap we see from Action.
I think this is the second sledge we saw. It was in the previous round as well.
Okay. I mean, even then, you still have your L1185, you still have the frag grenades. It's not too much different, but you know, it kind of plays into the fact that we didn't really see Hostile drone a whole lot. They're hesitant with it. They don't really use that for intel. And the Gemini, that's kind of worthless if you don't use it. Zag's able to find Vicacious. bringing it down to an even 3v3, but the frag grenade is going to go down. No one's going to find a conclusion to that. And it's still going to be a bit of a back and forth with the utility being dumped every which way as the Nomad tries to secure the area. I'm curious to see where this diffuser is going to go. It's going to make its way into Zombie, but with only a few seconds left, it's anybody's game now as things are starting to warm up. That plant's going to go down. Headshots through the wall. Sovereign's able to find Accent, but no, it's not going to stop there. Through Study, all the walls are open up. A triple kill collectively from 303 is going to secure everything as the bullet goes in that Nomad's brain, not once, but twice.
And 303, they kick off overtime with a big win to take things away. 3 players still remaining, and not a bad way to do it whatsoever. We switch over. It's going to be hostile action. They pick up the defense now, so it's been tenuous in the grand scheme of things. It's really going to come down to mental fortitude and just how well grounded they can keep themselves coming into this. Obviously, that was a pretty significant loss handed to them by 303. Now they have the opportunity to get themselves another round on the board. It's going to be Dom playing the Pulse once again.
Oh,
no, it's going to be the Legion. They're psyching out Krill once again, having him commit to the operator, even though it isn't going to be nearly as impactful as they would have anticipated. And that is a great read.
I'm wondering, though, if that was... I mean, it was a great read, don't get me wrong, but the Pulse was so effective in those past rounds. The IQ is a great counter to the Pulse, don't get me wrong, but even then, you knock down the IQ sooner than later. This could have been still a Pulse game here, but we're not going to be seeing it. We can't decide on bygones or bygones. I just want to know if 303 can finally win an attacker round. The last one we saw was so long ago, and it was only 2 rounds in their half for the attack. One of them was Aviator Panda, but I think there's a lot riding on hostile actions, bring it to a 7-7.
5 seconds left.
Oh, there's a lot that needs to be done here by hostile action. They just keep making these fundamental mistakes that really are just costing them in those clutch situations, and 303 have been able to step up. I mean, look, this is what we expect out of a team that has been able to take a map away from In Control Nation in the way that it did. Oh no, the repel reveals the bot. So anyone, Dom was there, was going to be the one to contest from walk in, but he misses out. He gets flushed out of that position. And all of a sudden, that's ground that hostile action now give up freely, not willing to contest whatsoever. It begs the question, why put someone there in the first place if you're not going to fight for it? I mean, hell, even if you exchanged some shots and then backed off, but that's not at all what happened. Dom just pulled off, threw out a goo mine, and he was gone.
Well, I think the goo mine's really important to note, because if we did see the chase come down from Sovereign or Vicacious, they trip on the goo mine, that would have been a swing coming out from the Legion, but no, we're not seeing that at all. We're seeing a whole Harry instead going through Trophy. Sovereign's going to be pushing up anyways, and Limbo's going to be in the same position as before. Dom going to relegate himself all the way back into B site, waiting to see if that B push ever goes into fruition. But the answer, buddy, is going to be no. Not going to happen. But Limbo now, I really want to see what he can do this round, because we've seen him in this position so many times. Track, though, wants to flush him out like he's done in the past. But there we go. It's going to be effective with the double flashbang. Is he able to find his way back? No shots are going to be traded whatsoever. And now we're seeing a very, very similar push we've been seeing from both teams, pushing the way into Zombie, going on the B site, but Dom is the first to fall. The Legion, who made all the trials of errors this round, not able to find even a single shot connecting to anybody, as he's the first one to fall. What could very well be the final round for Hostile in this first map.
Well, we'll see. Losing out on Dom, who has really been such a key player on this side, is not going to be great for hostile action. They lose a lot of ground. There's a minute left on the clock, but you see this. They're going to lose Sovereign just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Limbo able to connect on the shots, just playing for the positional advantage that they can maintain. Silver now doesn't really have any flank control, but look at this! Vicacious has just waltzed entirely through the bomb site. They know that there's security now. Silver can start to open this up. From here on out, Vicacious is going to find himself a double. Krill finds action. They're just shutting things down here. 303 are about to do it. Close out the map and deny hostile double overtime. Zag is locked into Hunting Bolt. He's being tagged. Limbo at least will take down Track, swinging into Classical. He's now into Bar. He can contest into Aviator potentially, but they don't have the angle onto the defuse planter, so he's going to have to try and loop round into Study. Zag is just tagged lower and lower. There's a player watching. Will he get the swing? Limbo in danger. Danger get killed by Cassius for a triple, and the defuse goes down. Zag has to go in aggressive, and 303. They take map number 1, having clawed it back from a 4-2 half. That is a hell of a showing.
Yeah, that was a beautiful comeback from 303, and honestly, I'm not terribly surprised. I thought it was going to be 303 to begin with in the predictions, but Hostile Actions put up one hell of a fight against them. That is some beautiful siege action, and that does not look like a team that normally goes 1-7 in SCS Season 4. No, they brought something beautiful in, pretty much, but they still lost the map. That's what matters most.
Welcome back, Rigel.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I thought for sure that Hostile Actions was taking that map. I mean, it looked all in their favor at the beginning of it, and then all of a sudden, we saw that reverse 4-2 split. They went to 6-6, and then all of a sudden, 303 walks in and starts picking up rounds like nobody's business, and getting kills. Just unfortunate plays, I think, coming out from Hostile Actions. I mean, especially if you look at that very last round. I don't know exactly what operator it was, but he was swinging through top main, and he was about to go and peek into study, and he's taking a gunfight, an active gunfight with the Ash. And he takes the 2 seconds to shoot the drone and dies.
Yeah,
it's just a
that was Limbo on the
Okay.
Wemai. He made a call. It wasn't a good call, but he made a call.
Right. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I guess. Get your 10 points. But well, it was fun, guys. I know we've still got one map coming up. It's going to be Clubhouse, the caster's favorite, coming up in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, we have Matt and we have Smith coming up for the analyst desk. So I'm going to go ahead and relegate Keg and Blue out of here for just a little while.
Wait, no, I want to stay.
Yeah, I
not
think
fair.
we have a bit more
Wow.
to add before we throw it to the analysts.
We're the analysts now. That's
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
are
taking
we gonna
charge.
have to 2v2? We're going to have to 2v2 on House
Roger.
Garage. Open?
Yeah.
Rigel,
Okay.
I am the captain now.
Look at
I'm
me.
taking charge.
Look
Look
at
at me.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind.
Wow.
They're gonna take us anyway. See you guys.
May had enough of that. He said, "Yeah, no, all right." But we got Smith, who is now actually an analyst for Ape, which is awesome. And then we have Matt as well coming out on the analyst desk. I think this is your first appearance on the analyst desk, actually. So that's pretty cool to have you guys here.
This is my first appearance on the analyst desk, and I wouldn't want to be in any other spot, especially with this game. We got a lot to talk about. But Smith, let's hear what you have to say first about that last one.
That last round or just this game?
Just this whole map. I mean, it was all over the place in my opinion. There were a lot of back and forths between these two teams. It just came down to overall execution on, I want to say 303. They finally were able to get what they were trying to start out with. A slow start, but realistically, they took the map, and I think you can just count that on just the way they executed. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant.
It was honestly just like a 4-2 split from both sides. 303, they won most of their rounds on defense, and Hostile Actions won most of their rounds on defense as well. And the reason for that is because of the lack of coordination from both teams on attack. Some simple stuff like in one of those rounds, Zofia, she ended up getting punished. I think it was this round actually. There should have been a Nomad charge already over there, but Mazi just went straight up, got a pick on Zofia, and it was Nomad's fault. Like it should have been Nomad and Zofia pushing up there, because Nomad needs to be up there to get those flanks cut off. Or I mean, looking at this here, it seems like most of the team wasn't ready for the push. So maybe Zofia should have slowed a bit down, but overall, like there's mistakes on both sides from the lack of coordination, and it ended up costing them on the most important rounds on attack. 303, they finally managed to they managed to close it off on an attack round, and it was good. Wait, no, it was defense. My bad.
Yeah, they did a really good job on defense. Just overall, their last second, I want to say, denial for those pushes by Hostile Action was just really, really good. They have that Maestro, you have that smoke, and you want to use all of their utility in the correct ways and just try and stall out that last second push. You saw that a couple of times, and in this round specifically, we saw, I cannot remember who won this round. I think it was Hostile Actions, right?
It was 303.
Oh, it was 303. So yeah, they won this round because they were able to stall out exactly how Hostile was trying to push into landing and get that plant down. And It was between the Goyo, the Maestro. It was really well played out. Now,
Eh.
there wasn't a Maestro in this round specifically, but he was a factor in a couple other rounds.
I mean, 20-second meta, like it's a big thing over here. Like if you have 20 seconds left and there's bodies in the defensive side, my best recommendation is not really to plant unless you know for sure that they used a utility that could be used as plant denial. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to win the round. It's swinging the odds heavily on the defensive side. You got to push to get those kills. Work together. That's a big thing.
Absolutely. Working together is something that we saw a little bit of, but a lot of times it just came down to just personal execution on the side of players stepping up. You saw that one round where Axon really moved in with the Yana. I'm not sure, it might be this round that we're showing right here, where the Yana just pushed in and got 4 crucial frags and gave the round to themselves. Was it this
That was
round?
this one.
It
Yes,
is
it
this
was.
one.
It is
yeah.
exactly
So
this one.
hopefully we'll see that in a second, but it was just really well executed by the attackers. You already have that control inside of bedroom, and then you have that extra pressure. You have a couple people still there. Then you try and take that 90 control. While the defense is still focused on that breach and bedroom side, where most of your team is pushing, you get that sneaky person crouch walking, having a little bit of intel, and Yana, one of the better operators to do that with, because she has that hologram that can really cause a little bit of mayhem for the defense and just kind of shooting at it. It is kind of easy to tell sometimes if it's actually a hologram or a person, but she walked in behind the defense, caught them by surprise, and it was well executed. I mean, it's something that you don't really see all the time with Yana, and in this level of gameplay, you want to see these intricate strats used.
I think the best level of coordination / utility usage was actually in this round, where a hostile actions won. I mean, obviously the BP meta, right? Bulletproof meta.
Right.
You wanna,
Absolutely.
you need bring some explosives, right? The attacking round brought 6 explosives, while the defense had 4 bulletproof utility, right? And Ash, she did a great job at clearing out the utility, especially from below. One of those utilities that she had gotten, it allowed Mozzie to get picked off, and it overall created a big hole in Astro because there's 2 people in there. Maestro, I'm not sure if he was there then, but Mozzie got picked off, and they probably had to send someone there in Maestro in Astro, and allowed that to just weaken all the other places that the defenders could have been, if that makes sense.
That Maestro was in a really difficult position, though. That Astro desk is so difficult to hold. When you have somebody pushing up the stairs, you have somebody now pushing from 90, and inside a bathroom, too, you can maybe pick off one. So we saw him. He was able to get that kill onto the Ash, but you have that person inside a bathroom. You're going to try and swing, get the edge on them, but they're ready for the gunfight. And if you don't die to the person in bathroom, you're dying from the person behind in 90. So just good positioning from hostile actions on that round. Now, one thing I wanted to point out from hostile actions and even 303 on their defense was their use of nitro cells and that vertical denial pressure. You saw it on both sides, but more so on 303, not necessarily on this round, but this one in particular, you saw that 303 did not opt to clear for that bottom floor inside of laundry and kitchen, and that allowed those nitro cells and that pulse to really just play under there completely uncontested. So something going into the next map of Clubhouse, you definitely want to see a lot more of that vertical pressure from the attackers to try and get rid of those defenders who are denying you intel from that side of sight. For a map like Clubhouse, it should prove to be very telling to see which team is better, because you know that Clubhouse in its nature is going to favor teams who push and use their utility wisely, whether that be trying to take out the people inside of garage, try and get control of that CCTV wall. You just have to be able to play well and coordinated. If you're not, it will show very quickly.
It was. You already continue?
Oh yeah, sorry, Spin. I was about to.
I was just
we
gonna
have,
wrap it up.
Oh yeah, then if you want to wrap it up, we just have like a couple seconds. That's what I was about to say. We have like maybe 15.
I got you. So, overall, it was just which team, like the team that won was the team that made the less critical mistakes. You know, hostile actions, they made more mistakes or more critical mistakes in this map, and it shows. It shows. You can see it. That's all I was gonna say. It was just critical mistakes after critical mistakes, whether it was overextension, lack of coordination, info, all that jazz.
All right, guys.
Just quickly to add one more thing, going into Clubhouse, I want to see a lot more coordination between these teams. And if you don't, then it's going to be a very one-sided match, and you'll see 303 take the next map. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, I loved everything you had to say, Matt. I hope we see a lot more of you here on Analyst S2.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate it.
we're going to send it on back to Keg and Blue. And while we do that, I think Hostile Actions potentially has the chance to take the second map. I think they just got gassed, honestly. On Villa, they had a pretty good run in the beginning, and they just got gassed. What do you guys think? You were watching it first person. Do you think they might have the opportunity on this one?
Look, I'll be honest. I think Hostile Action potentially get in their own head a little bit too much. I think that's exactly what we saw in Villa. If they started with a 3-0 and then there was an upset. They got another round and then it was stopped again. And then they go into the half and they just start losing rounds. I think if Hostile Action can stay out of their own heads in those situations, not get too hung up on any round losses, yeah, 100%, they can bring it back. They got gassed, yes, but the part of that gassing was from themselves in certain situations. But I think 303, they do have that momentum. There is entirely a possibility where they ride that momentum. They can continue just digging away and getting in the heads of Hostile Action, and they steal this away in a 2-0.
Okay.
I completely agree with that. I mean, overall, I think the coordination factor that the analyst mentioned was super important to mention, because that coordination from Hostile on the second half, on their attack, was almost non-existent at times. They were scurrying around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out what they can do. And, for a lot of us, at least the audience, we know where everyone is. We know exactly what plays they should have made, but to them in game, it seems like an impossible situation for them a lot of the times, and that's exactly what they saw with them getting into their own head. I can only hope, Panda, I can only hope, Rigel, that maybe a Clubhouse will be a little bit more of an even affair, especially in the first half, and maybe we can see OT again, because I want to spite you, Panda.
Oh, wow. Well, I think it could definitely happen, honestly. I think all that needs to happen really for Hostile Actions is, like you said, that coordination. I think maybe a little bit better droning action coming out from them would be very beneficial, prevent some of those weird flanks that we saw, especially from Sovereign. And then I can't remember who the Mozzie player was, unfortunately, on 3.
Vicacious. And he's gone. He's left the channel.
Oh.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I don't know where he's gone. He's just straight up left the Discord. But while he gets that sorted, I honestly, I'm down here in New Zealand. I still have no idea where he's gone.
I'm looking for. Hold on.
Yeah.
I can't find
He's
him.
under the desk. He was there at the start of the broadcast.
He was.
He's back. There you are.
Wow.
Welcome.
Okay, my internet just had a massive stroke, but we are back. So we resuscitated my internet connection. But in any case, I don't remember where I left off, so I'm gonna leave it to you guys on that one. I think you probably took over for me for a second, hopefully.
Yeah, well, we were just discussing, potential. With Sovereign and Vicacious. Vicacious was the Mozzie player for 303. He found some great angles. 303 have really been phenomenal at finding these little angles that are not being watched by Hostile Action, and then driving the wedge home. I mean, we saw it on Krill pushing into Study. He found the flank onto 2, did 1.5 people's worth of damage, which enabled the rest of the team to come in and swamp it out. Like, I think Hostile Action they're not covering their bases. They need to have more. Just because you have an operator that does flank watch doesn't mean they're flank watching. They've got a nomad. They're assuming that's covering their bases, and that's not it. You need someone actively watching the angles that you're not covering, or your teammates aren't covering, so that you can go for the execute onto the site, so that you can get the exothermic off to open up a wall. So yeah, coming into this, I think Hostile Action, it's head on a swivel. That needs to be the moment, like the way to play this map. Don't for a moment think that you're secure in what you're doing. Set yourself up for it, look for the flank, and then go back to the execute.
Did we see a single air jab go off that last game?
Not that I remember.
I believe one, and
one.
it was 303 that was the ones using it at the time, so.
That's an issue. Yeah. That's a pretty big issue when you have a flank watch. You gotta have them do their job. But maybe it's going to be a little bit more linear for Hostile Actions to know exactly what their playbook's going to be on Clubhouse. It's, of course, probably the most played map in all of Siege, regardless of what league you're in. So it's going to be a little bit more played to death. It's going to be a little bit more linear. All the strats are there. Like you said, Ben, at the beginning of Villa, but Clubhouse is that times 2 or even 3.
Yeah, well, it's anyone's game. In all honesty, Clubhouse, yeah, it's that known entity. I think there's very few situations where you're going to get caught unawares on a map like this. Almost every conceivable strategy has been developed, has been played, has been seen on this map. So I think, you know, first step is get into operator band, see where we're going from there, and then if that doesn't hugely give an indication of which side is going to be the favored one, it comes down to the teams at the end of the day, and we've already seen that Hostile Action have had those wide gaps in their defense.
And I'll tell you what, too, guys. Keg, you know, you were saying it earlier. You are a fan of stories, and I think the story right now is that 303 is the team that is going to capitalize on your mistakes. We've seen it before in the previous weeks here. That's why they took a map off of some of those top teams like that. Now we're seeing it again here. Hostile Action slipped up a little bit. 303 took it, and they ran with it. So we're going to have to see if that's going to be, yet again, the story of map number 2 on Clubhouse. And in these last couple seconds, Keg, Blue, I'm going to throw it on over to you guys. We'll see you in Germany in the wonderful place of Clubhouse.
It's a club.
It's a house. What more could you want, in all honesty? Yeah, except maybe a steakhouse if you're keen, but that's in the past. We're not going to be going there. That's in the middle of the outback, and there's spiders and kangaroos and all sorts of nasties that'll be coming for you. Over here, though, there's narcotics and guns and motorbikes, so it's just as good, in all honesty.
Yeah, let's look at what critters are going to be banned, though. Hostile Action's going to go first. If I had to take an educated guess, Thatcher, Mav, Wamai, Valk? Maybe Capital?
I think, yeah, that's a pretty solid roster of ban, you know, operators. Thatcher, yeah. I mean, look, was there any doubt that we were going to see the Thatcher? No. I think the next question is it going to be Ace? Is it going to be Maverick? Because we know teams have been prioritizing the Ace a little bit more. It gives that added security, means you then have to rely on the Maverick, which can be punished quite heavily, especially on CCTV. You position a smoke, it's going to be much harder. I'm still pegging that Ace. I still think, yeah, it's going to be Ace. I think teams have just figured out how to deal with the Maverick. You watch the holes. I mean, look, let's be honest. If you've got a Maverick available and it's a CCTV bomb site, you're going to start to see an opening somewhere, and you can look to abuse that. The big question, though, is are we going to see Cade banned out on the defense? That is the big one in my mind. If we see Cade taken away, it means those hatches are more secure, and then the opening ban for the defense, Hostile Action, aren't going to have to worry about taking away that one for themselves. So it means, I mean, look, here, it's Mira or Malusi. That's the only two options, in all honesty.
No, it's going to be Jaeger. Oh, okay.
I think that might be a little bit targeted towards Sovereign. I suppose utility denial is pretty much the name of the game in the current state of Rainbow Six. But hey, I mean, it leaves Mira, leaves Wemai, Malusi. Hell, it even leaves the Maestro, which has seen a little bit of banning. So there's a lot of scary options available. Dom is going to be straight in on that Mira as we head down to the basement, kicking at things off. Hostile Action. Look, there's 3 of 4 potential banned operators that we were talking about currently in play.
Yeah, that's a lot of banned operators in play. The Hibana, and of course, and the Maverick are going to be interesting picks to see how they're going to revolve around Church. It's pretty linear when it comes to that bomb site, especially the Hibana. But the Maverick could do some work either, you know, let's say on Blue Hatch or even on Dirt. But I'm curious to see how this mirror is going to come into play. I really want to focus on her in the prep phase and see where these mirrors are going to go. Because that's not something we see too often when it comes to, well, when it comes to any map in Siege. If I had to take an educated guess, we're probably going to see a lot of mirror presence inside of Generator. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. There's going to be one going into Generator. The other one's probably going to be near Church Wall into Blue as well. This would make a lot of sense, and it would cover a lot of the ground. So, say, normally, Panda, the Jaeger would be placed behind the actual Generator in Generator, be holding that site, but now you can be a little bit more safe with it, with the mirror walls.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to go see this standard setup. You know, you put it on the floor looking into Jenny towards Blue. You can actually find some very, very aggressive angles. you're then gonna go for the standard setup on the church. You know, open up that middle
Oh.
panel, you have it close, and Sovereign, he doesn't care. He's gonna find Zag early, that Nitro Cell. And that was, I think that was the pre-fire intercon once again. Yeah, it was. Oh my lord. No,
Wow.
that's like the third time I've seen it in a week and a half where someone has just been absolutely murked in construction from a pre-fire.
You know, I try to do that in ranked all the time, and that never works out. But of course, when you see in competitive play where it matters more than ranked, and well, you don't want that to happen to you, especially the mute. We've seen these mutes get the short end of the stick so many times in this series so far, and it's going to continue on the streak here, and a lot more pressure is going to be completely gone, as we already see a lot of home model makeovers going down inside kitchen. Vacations and Sovereign, where are you guys? Able to find a double kill. Suddenly now only 2 left alive, and it's just chaos downstairs, it seems, as they're trying to find these elevated angles going down below. The Hippolyta just shoots her own pellets. The round's over, they feel. But these last 2 are hiding as much as they can. They want to stave away and try to bring the battle to their own side. Impact Trick's gonna miss too. That's gonna be the kitchen hatch open. Limbo's in trouble, Panda.
Yeah, he is in for a world of hurt. So is Devils, honestly. But look, hey, this is a much better kickoff for 303. They're looking very, very solid coming into this attacking round. It's only the first one, so there's still potential that, you know, it could happen. But the big thing I want to talk about, I mean, look, Track's playing the sledge, and I just watched the follow-through animation from someone else's perspective. How does Sledge not need a chiropractor like 24/7?
He's got a strong back.
He almost turned 180 degrees with the damn thing.
He's got a strong back, but you know what else is strong? This plant going down. Now we're in the post-plant situation. It's gonna be the Hippolyta gone. Devils with a double kill. Can he keep the streak going? Well, the answer is gonna be yes. But it's Silver instead, finding Limbo. It's gonna be Devils, the last one now. All trying to stave away not only just 1, but 2, but 3 different of those attackers who are looking to see him go for the post plant. But he's gonna go for it anyways, the diffuse motion in mind. They're gonna be looking around to see if they can find the safest angle they possibly can. With only 15 seconds left, all it takes again is another bullet to the body, and round number 1's gonna go to 303, much more in hand than what we had seen from them in Villa already in a single round.
Vicacious, you can't count him out at any point. Just made his way all the way through dirt, found the frag, found the opening, and they take it away. And look, I'm gonna be honest, Keg, this is the start of what could potentially be a huge momentum shift.
Oh.
It's a beautiful friendship as well, but I mean, look, 303 they've just won the last map, they've taken the opening round, Hostile Action are playing on the defense. If Hostile Action aren't able to boot and rally here and get themselves around on the board, I am pegging that we see a 4-2 half going the way of 303.
As of now, we've only been a round in, but I could see this become a possibility. Their attack was solid. They went in. I'm not sure where those opening picks besides the mute went down. I'm not sure where. Well, I know where Zag was taken down, but everybody else, I have to assume, was maybe around bar area, maybe a little bit down below, like Moto. I'm not entirely sure where all that went down, but overall, it was solid, it was fast, and it was concise, and it was cleanly done. Sure, the post plant was a little bit messier for 303, but they still got it done without really taking any bodies.
Yeah, and well, I would imagine we're probably not going to get the same initial frag going the way of 303 this time around. I don't see, you know, just that same situation playing out. Surely not. Like, the detriment to the mentality that happens off of a frag like that is going to cripple any team, make it incredibly hard. Is Limbo setting up for potentially a run out here? Cam in place, MPX in hand. No one. Oh, no, there is one spawn. I think he's just seen the head there. In fact, there's 2 of them just edging around. Can they see the camera? No, I don't think they can. Running aggressively forward. Axon might be the one to meet, and here we go. Limbo finds the first. It's going to be stolen away from the one that potentially could have been found by Limbo. But that is Silver going down. That's the Maverick. This means that the hold is that much harder. But look, Vicacious in the right spot at the right time to punish. Does get the refrag, and that is a Nitro now out of the hands of Limbo.
Yeah, that Nitro gone could be really important for these end game situations. The C4s we're seeing probably not as much as we're going to see on Villa, but still have a lot of prominence on, say, Church Site. But now we see the attackers playing a lot slower now. They were able to get that rotate hole inside of between Raptors and B site opened up. Axon's essentially trapped. Either he could push up and meet the eyes of Track, or he could go down and rotate the B site, but meet the bullets of Krill. It's a tough position for this Wamai to be in. All he can really do is stand still and wait for these attackers to come on in. Panda, do you think we could see Axon get this next frag?
I don't know. He's waiting. Oh, the upside down rappel on this doorway is
man.
so ambitious. It's usually designed to try and catch out someone holding deep in oil pit, even sitting in that strange
Wow.
angle. And okay, never mind, Krill. Just give it up. Give up the goat. Lose your head. Accent. He's going to be hard to flush out of this position. One, they've lost 3 stuns now that were potentially going to be coming out of Krill. They've got 2 frags and 3 more stuns left as Vicacious is just going to be taken out by a pigeon, or like a friggin' pigeon. Sorry. But, they're just crumbling. They can't handle the pressure. Hostile Action have come into map number 2 looking to absolutely make a statement here, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Axon's on fire right now. Already a triple kill, it seems, and Sovereign's the last one alive. This is not the same solid, clean effort we were complimenting only a few minutes ago. The impact grenade's gonna fall, barely do any damage to Sovereign, but he's still gonna be alive. It's a battle of the explosions between these two, but rotating downstairs. Devils is there to clean up the kill. That's be Hostile Actions, tying things up 1-1 between these two teams, and Devils and Axons have been really strong so far this series. But losing down on Devils early on, or relatively early on, was a really painful stake for Hostile in that first round. But now it's an even 1v1. We're going to be going to Gym. This is a tertiary site, and this could be a really rough one for HA as well. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a good round to win, in all honesty. They still have the option to go to basement if they should so choose. But Gym Bedroom, it's an interesting one. It's a site that's made infinitely weaker by the fact that Jaeger is now banned. You can open up that jacuzzi wall with the help of a player sitting on Gym window. It means that they've got to go for a deeper spread on the side of Hostile Action on the defense. You cannot all be bunkering on the site. There has to be at least some verticality, or at least someone playing horizontally, and I think the game has just crashed for our observer, unfortunately.
Well, this is a beautiful painting we can see here. The shield coming up really represents a lot about the game in its current state. Of course, with the explosives behind it, that also says a lot about the game's current state. With the explosions. Oh! Computer just straight up died. Oh. Well, that's not good.
We'll do a bit of what we can to try and break down what was going on, and I think we'll have Rigel. Look, the interesting thing, so we're coming into round number 3 here, Keg. There's, they have the option to go back to basement. They have the option to go to this tertiary bomb site. Mira wasn't banned, and they've opted not to play for it. Mira, traditionally an operator that plays incredibly well, looking to that jacuzzi wall, but it's not there. Rigel, welcome back!
Hey,
unfortunately, much like the, the player on the upside down rappel outside garage door, our observer's computer has died.
Much like what happened to 303 that last round, I think it died.
Oh, Keg calling him out, but it's an unfortunate circumstance. Sometimes it just happens. PC problems, game problems. We've all been a victim of that at some point or another. So
yeah.
But wow, all right. What do you guys think about the decision to go over to Gym instead of going back down to basement? That's something we can talk about definitely. Because they had basement available. It's been 2 rounds. What do you think?
I think it's a smart decision to make overall. You're feeling out all the bomb sites on the defense. You could go to Church again, a site that you lost, and maybe, face the fact that you could lose it twice in a row, or essentially lose it twice without any victories. Or you could at least check each bomb site once and see what works best and what doesn't work best, because you're inevitably going to return to these bomb sites at least one more time. So going to Gym, I think, is a perfect maneuver, especially with Mira on the board.
Okay.
But,
yeah,
Panda, you said something about Mira on Gym.
Yeah, it's an operator. I mean, I understand why it probably wasn't bought. It's an operator that is, look, more often than not banned out, so teams don't necessarily have strategies developed around it. So I think, these teams, they aren't willing to go on the fly and say, look, even though we've been scrimming and practicing this for the last 3 weeks, There's just teams at this level that really aren't willing to take the risk and potentially lose out on it. Even though, Mira is probably one of the strongest defensive operators on that bomb site, the bathroom hold is just wildly overpowered because you have that mirror window. So even if Jacuzzi Wall is lost, you just swing and straight gun someone down who's dumb enough to walk into the breach. So I think it's an interesting choice, but obviously comfort is key with a lot of these teams. If they've been practicing, like I said, for the last 3 weeks, this one strategy, why would you want to change it?
That's totally fair. I mean, we'll have to see because it has been ruled an administrative rehost. So basically what happens is they will continue playing that round out because it made it past the point where we could rehost. So we will see exactly if it's going to work out for the defenders or if it is going to go in favor of attacking 303. Because as we all know, even with the Mira on the board, that site is very attacker-sided. It is very difficult to defend. You have to have everything down to a T. And even then, if you get an early opening death on the side of the defenders, it can throw your whole entire strategy off, no matter if you're, Fort Knox of a T3 team. So we'll see. But I'm liking where this game is going so far. It's been pretty even for the most part, but Hostile Actions, I think, is looking even stronger than 303 if they're going to give up a round like the CCTV defense that happened.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry, some of you guys might notice me. Oh shit, Nationals relegations are on right now, and I cast the qualifiers, and one of the teams that I'm hoping are about to win map number 1. So I might be dancing back and forth, but I'm definitely here. I'm definitely paying attention to the match. It's
biased caster.
Biased caster. Hey, look, I love the PC419 guys. They played 3 back-to-back best of 3s with Theme Park as the decider in the lower bracket, so they deserve to be where they are right now. So,
but becoming my office on Monday.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, coming back to the match that we're playing in, I mean, that defense was a much better showing from Hostile Action. We know they excel on that side in the grand scheme of things. 303, their attack is a bit hit or miss, and we are going to jump straight back into the replays there. You can see opening round number 1 was very, very much a round which 303 had control of from start to finish. I mean, Keg, we were sitting there breaking it down. They just forced their way in. They got the plant down. Even that early kill that Sovereign managed to pull out of thin air under Zag, losing the Nitro, losing the M590. I can't believe that 3 times in the last week and a half, I've seen that exact kill play out.
It's like a lucky rabbit's foot.
This is, I think, the second time that it's actually happened this season in SCS. I forget what team actually did it, but it was a mirror image of that exact
I want to
same
say
kill.
it was In Control Nation versus First Attempt, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's the one. And it was actually a mute as well. The mute was roaming all the way upstairs. He was trying to, I think he was just running past. He wasn't even trying to reinforce, and all of a sudden he gets domed from spawn like that. That's just so unfortunate. You're probably sitting at your desk like, what where did I die from, guys? You're freaking out. Upsetting.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you
go back, watch the VOD, and you realize that was what. Oh yes, sorry. PC419. I'm just one map one, so I'm very happy right now. Look, hey, this is their shot at tier 1. They've been sitting in tier 3, tier 2 for the longest time. These guys deserved it, so I'm stoked that they've taken away map number 1. But we're on map number 2 here, so ironically similar to what they're going to be going into. The defense from Hostile, they seem to have bomb sites that work very, very well for them and bomb sites that don't. And we've seen CCTV does work very, very well for them. Basement, it was really just an absolute shutout. The fact that it was Devils in limbo in a 2v5 and there was absolutely no chance of contesting. I think this Jaeger ban has gone, against Hostile Action. The reason that they lost was Devil was sitting on the diffuser. If they'd had a Jaeger, that would have been more utility off the board. He wouldn't have had to worry about the frag grenades, but that's what forced him off in the end. So I think this is maybe a knee-jerk reaction ban that we're seeing as it's taken away from Sovereign, rather than actually thinking out, what is going to set us up for the best defense and make it work. So yeah, I think that is a large part of what cost them round number 1.
And I do have a little bit of an update for you guys actually as well. Unfortunately, Bean's graphics card has done what I believe, I think it was a CL Observer's graphics card has done as well, and it died. Oh wow, yeah. Well, it did that. It is no longer working. So we are actually swapping observers, and we're gonna have the esteemed Henru come in here to take on over. So everyone pray for Bean's graphics card that he's able to pull that back to life at some point in time, but it shouldn't be too much longer for you guys. So, but Keg,
it's an interesting position that we've had to hold what we're seeing this early on because it's 1-1. There's still so much up in the air.
Yeah, a lot in the air right now. I do want to see how Jim goes down. Unfortunately, we'll never know how that round went down per se, but we can see the score line. We can only just assume. But if I had to take a bit of a gander, I'm going to say that maybe 303 takes it. Mirror's going to come out next time we see Jim.
Well, do you want me to spoil it, or do you want me to wait until the stream goes back up?
Ooh.
I think just spoil it. We're not gonna see how the round played out anyway. They'll know as soon as the score's up. But like, yeah, the Jim defense was interesting. There's a lot of ways that it could have come undone. I mean, relying solely on a mute jammer, you're then gonna have to commit magnets to the drone hole, so a frag grenade doesn't deny. I reckon, yeah, 303 got a pretty easy entry into the bomb site and then frags.
That's my guess too. 303.
Okay. And drum roll, please. Drum roll, someone. Keg.
I was a bassist, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, I believe you're one of those. But in any case, it was 303. They won the round, and it looks like the standout was Visacious. I mean, he ended that those first 3 rounds with 4 kills, you know, and same thing with Track. He's got 3, so I think they ate up big in that round.
Oh,
Yeah,
hello, scoreboard.
Oh,
We're seeing the whole slideshow. Okay.
May, I love you. I'm just gonna say that right now. Yeah, I wish it was Valentine's Day. I would send you a Valentine for this, but yeah, there's your scoreboard, everybody. It's 2-1. What was that look, Keg? I don't know if you're giving me a look or.
Hermay could do so much better.
Wow. Okay. He's saying that already Ferme has gone above and beyond SCS. Actually, well, that begs the next big question. So, Ferme Challenger League
I'm
win.
down bad.
Oh, there we go.
No! I'm a scoreboard.
Get out
Well,
of
This
here.
is my new form.
Hey, May still loves me, everyone. That's not
I
fair.
have
Eh.
evolved.
Well, I mean, look, Keg, you're involved in Challenger League. Surely Ferme's not too far away from that as well. The
Oh no, he's not.
top tier production skills. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Canadian Challenger League, then maybe.
I think Ferme has done a beautiful job when it's come to his production so far, and I can't wait to see what he can do in the future as well.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't get contracted for season 2.
Oh no, this is the upside down rappel coming in once again.
Oh,
Attractive.
no.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Like, you have.
I've seen it before.
absolutely-
So it gives you control of oil pit just in case there's someone down there trying to get the flank as you push up the stairs.
But you have
I-
drones. You have drones for a reason, man. Don't risk yourself like that. Like, look at this. I
Oh,
know that wasn't
okay,
the
no,
other-
it wasn't. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, there was Krill who swung anyway, but they were just trying. It's something that we've seen both these teams do. They try to cover every single base while not having someone to cover while they're doing it. So
Swinger be swung, baby.
I guess, yeah. T3 meta. It's not even anything about gadgets. It's not even anything about utility burn. It's literally just swing and be swung.
I reckon next season is going to be absolutely insane for the
Oh,
tier
man.
3 seed.
It is
like-
gonna be bonkers.
Well, okay, we'll just take a bit of a deviation away from the match because we're still just waiting for everything to get sorted. But I mean, the changes to Jaeger mean that you either have to hard commit all 3 ADSs to the one spot so that it can actually chew through that utility, or you spread it out and sort of try and get the important stuff, which is
Right.
no guarantee. So, I mean, look, there's just going to be a straight gun meta. You throw a flash and you run it. I wouldn't be surprised. Opening week of the next season of Pro League or something, and someone gets an ace because they've just flashed into a room, caught out 3 people, and then caught the other 2 that were in the room off guard. So
Goodbye,
I think
already
it's-
happens.
it's going to be an interesting season. That's
I
all
don't
I'm
know. I
saying.
think I would. You would say that it's already happening like that, Keg. But at the same time, who has flashbangs left anymore? Like after a good utility dump, who has any flashbangs left?
I mean,
Like,
it depends on the setup. I mean, a lot of the times we do see flashbangs at the end. It depends on that setup. If you have incorrect, his magnets going wherever, you have Zofia Nash at your disposal. I mean, you're going to use that utility first because there's no
well,
soft breaches anymore.
that's fair, but I mean, I guess that's also counting, especially if you're leaving like flashbangs left over due to mistakes, like you're talking about, like a Wamai being misplaced or something like that. That's really dependent on how the other team performs. So I mean, in an
Well,
ideal
yeah, it's dependent if you
scenario-
get an ace,
True.
Well, you can go back to
Which
banning
has
Wamai and get infinitely weaker. In fact, we might even see teams. I imagine the pick rate of a Jaeger is going to drop dramatically going into next season. I mean, he's what, 98% plus
98.
at the moment. I
And
think we're going
he'll
to see
stay
that drop down
98
to.
as well, because we actually
Hmm.
discount bans, so his pick rate will still be 98.
Oh,
Yeah, so
there it is.
honestly, I think going into the next season, we could even see that dip below the 70% mark just because of how much weaker he is going to be than he was originally.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 100% ready to see that. I think the reign of Jaeger is over. He is the highest pick rate of any operator in the game right now in competitive, higher than any attacker, higher than anything like that. But in any case, I'm excited to see exactly what this next season of the game is going to bring for competitive. And I think that T3 is going to get even better because A, we have all these reworks, and B, our lovely friends at RSA and us, you know, we're streaming on different days now. They have the weekends, we have the weeks. So all T3 teams are going to be able to play in whatever league that they want to, which is going to allow for those, you know, crazy teams to come in and battle it out with each other everywhere. So it's going to be phenomenal.
I like crazy teams.
I do too.
I just want to let you know that.
I like PC419. They're a map up at the moment. Have I not mentioned that?
Blue, you're like obsessed with PC419. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, they played 17 maps over the course of the qualifiers, being knocked down the lower bracket and having to play through. The most maps of the qualifiers by, I think it was 6 almost. So they're an absolutely insane bunch, and I mean there's a couple of players in the tournament who are just absolute buck wild fraggers in SCS, and there's a player on PC419 who's just like that. The guy goes in on Ash. If he gets 1 kill, he's guaranteed to get at least 2 more. So I'm excited to see what they're doing, but we're still waiting on confirmation for this next match. And yeah, look, this next season is going to be an interesting one. The changes, Dokkaebi is going to get frag grenades, which is not a situation. I mean, hey, look, the synergy between that and the logic bomb is absolutely insane. You know, shoot a hole through the floor, it gives you that much more information through the audio. You go for a logic bomb, for a frag.
That's honestly beautiful. I'm so ready for that. But Keg, what is your favorite rework that's going to be coming up here for this next season? What do you think?
I like the aesthetics of the season. I like Aruni. I like the colors. I like Aruni's arm. The reworks I'm hesitant to comment on because I want to see what they're gonna do in a competitive setting. We just haven't seen that yet. You know, each season we say, "Oh, this is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be the operator, you know, whatever operator killer." And rarely do we actually see that. Were bulletproof cameras the Valkyrie killer? No. I mean, I think we have to wait and see. I think a lot of this is just kind of hearsay right now. I don't
know. Aruni running around with the, you know, the Dokkaebi DMR and a P10 Aruni. Either way, she's going to be a real powerhouse, I reckon.
I like Aruni.
I'm just
well, actually, yeah, speaking of the situation we just saw, so we just saw, you know, Zag get killed from Con being spawn peaked by, well, not spawn peaked, just pre-fired by Sovereign. Imagine that, but in reverse, Aruni punched the wall with a DMR. And all of a sudden, it's the attacker who would traditionally get the win in that fight being absolutely just headshot out of existence. So I think this DMR change is going to be an interesting one, to say the least.
Well, you know what else, too, Blue? I mean, you're talking about punching the wall with the DMR, but I mean, if you punch the wall with her hand, it actually creates a small hole of soft destruction, which is
that's what I was talking about.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I thought you meant like the DMR.
Strangely enough, it actually has its own icon in the kill.
Really? That's actually awesome.
It's a fist. So, but yeah, no, it has its own icon.
Okay, cool.
It's got that Johnny Silverhand look from Cyberpunk.
Or
that game that came out 5 years. Oh wait, you know that game that came out in April. Oh wait. Oh, you know that game that came out.
Are you talking about Dead Island 2? That game that was announced 6 years ago and
that game that came out in December. Yeah. Oh wait.
I thought we broke Keg for a second. You know, he sounded like a record there.
Cyberpunk broke me.
Okay.
It broke me.
Oh,
he sounds like that one guy playing on that tier 3, made it to Pro League and never did again. Yeah, that guy.
You cut out what?
No, sorry, I was just making a joke about certain ANZ players who made Pro League once and then been back there and not shut up about it.
What a real knee slapper. What about hey, guess what, Rigel?
Yeah.
You're leaving.
Oh.
Bye.
I had fun, everyone. I'll see you later.
Alright, we got it there in the end. Thank you for joining us to help fill the gap. But Keg, we're getting into round number 3, so we're finally coming back into Clubhouse. Yes. It was, considering the gap, round number 4. Round number 3 was played off stream. It was 303 that won it, so we are coming back into round number 4. 2-1 currently to the attackers. We are going to be heading back down to basement. They lost Jim, and In my mind, at least, it was a rather one-sided battle. I think there would have been a huge amount of resistance, and we're seeing Mirror come out once again for hostile action. Why aren't we seeing it on Gym Bedroom? Like, it makes more sense than Basement, at least in my mind.
I mean, it makes a lot more sense. Of course, church, you do have your traditional setups for the Mira. Maybe they're a little outdated because literally no one plays Mira anymore. And for, a lot of the times, a really good reason. I think there's a lot of possibilities with the Mira. We've seen it mostly on church walls, maybe going the generator like we did in round one. Sometimes we see it going into into Moto hallway, all that. But I'm curious to see if we're gonna see a deviation and a huge change for Zag's Mirror setup, and that could make or break the round, as long as Zag doesn't get killed 2 seconds into the round.
Yeah, and they're getting themselves set up as you would expect. Is being dealt with. They've got 4 impacts, but I mean, really, it's probably just going to be on the shoulders of Dom, who will be playing on the side, I imagine. Will be on a bit of a roam, although we could still see that hard anchor Vigil, which has been seeing a little bit more, prominence in the game, especially in a situation where Jaeger's going to be banned. Don't have anyone holding on generator. You can just sit him there, play around with that drone information and still swing and find frags. But no, it looks like he's going upstairs. He's heading potentially over to Master Bedroom, I would imagine. He's just hanging around CCTV Cache, potentially into Con. Not going to go for the same rush that we saw Zag go for and get destroyed through that con wall, but he's still in the vicinity where he could find some real change.
But we do see Silver opening up a little bit of a hole into Dirt. This could be huge for him if he's able to find any early aggression. I'm not entirely sure if there's anyone inside of Dirt currently. From the looks of it, no. Everyone's gonna be mostly playing off-site, and for a lot of that's gonna be upstairs, Panda. Limbo has a great opportunity to go into logistics, throw an impact down, and get a lot of verticality, but Dom instead does the opposite of what I said, takes down Vicacious, and now Track needs to avenge his death.
There was a tight angle that he found, just managing to spot out the head of the Ash player here, who was pretty key in that last approach to the bomb site. But you look at the Silver has already got the wall open. That's a bold run out.
Why?
Sovereign catching Limbo. I don't know what prompted that call, but that felt like such a free kill given up there. Jackson will spot out the player in Dirt. Tags Silver very, very heavy though. So he has been punished. Gonna jump on his drones, look for that information. Given the proximity of the WAM, would be no doubt in my mind that there's some magnets there as well. So the frag grenade play, potentially going to be a risky one at that. But you look at Curly still trying to get the hatch open here. And, I mean, he's still got that 1 CDX Cairo, so he can bait out the impact. There we go. He's going to be able to get it open this time unless they... Oh, no, never mind. He doesn't need impacts. He's got the older 5.56, finds that tight angle again, shuts out the Hibana, and all of a sudden, what looked like it was going to be... Oh, my lord, Silver, good night, Devils! Just finds the head with the 1 tap and brings it back to an even man count. All of a sudden, things are looking tight, looking tenuous with 56 seconds left of the clock. Silver will go down. He'll be dealt with by Action. But my lord, this momentum is shifting so heavily back and forth. I'm getting motion sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna projectile vomit everywhere. It is just a splatterfest going down into the end of this round. 40 seconds left on the clock. We're seeing bullets go from everywhere. What did Sovereign get hit by? Well, that answer is gonna be unknown as we see Track now rotating around the generator and see if he can find an early rush into either A or into generator. But no, the Wamai is there, but the double kill. Axon's ready for the punch, and now speaking of punches, you have Mama Bear now at the bottom of the main stairs. Last one alive, a 1v3, 18 seconds left. The odds, all of them, literally all the odds in Siege are stacked up against the Zofia, but they're going to make that push anyways. Going into the front, it's going to be a bullet to the brain. Another round for hostile actions. Evening things out once again, 2-2 against 303. Another tie that Panda, I don't think we were expecting to see.
I mean, they started off well. They got control of Kitchen. They started the verticality. They just weren't anticipating such an aggressive angle being held by Dom. It was the perfect one, in all honesty. He found, 2 big frags, denied the X-Kairos with the impact trick as well. Just exactly where he needed to be, at the right place at the right time. Well and truly punished 303, who... I mean, we talked about hostile action being the ones to not cover their bases, cover their angles where they could be punished from, and this time it was 303. I don't even think they were aware that they could have been punished by that situation. So this time they are going to be going into it. They are going to be going back to CCTV here, Keg, and this is the one that did very much go in favor of hostile action the last time round.
Panda, do you believe in magic?
What kind of magic? Because sleight of hand, that's my stuff.
I don't know. Magic?
Yes, I believe in magic, Keg.
All right, well then maybe we could magically see a 3-2 of one of these score lines here. It could, I mean, we've been saying it could go either way for a while now, but it was pretty magical to watch all that Raptor gameplay go down in when we saw 303 win last. I'm curious to see if Axon's going to hold that Raptors position again. It was a curious area to see everybody in, but it was still really risky, especially the sledge play we saw from Track almost get that kill. He just needed to poke out a little bit more. It was Krill that swung in and got killed. Limbo's going to go for the run out again, but first you got to put a camera down. Panda, if we believe in magic, we're going to see an exact repeat of what we saw last time on CCTV.
Oh my lord, Zag playing a dangerous game there with the late reinforcement, but it's going to be Dom, the first one punished. That was what looked like a... No, he was just shot through the window. I thought he'd jumped out there or something, but no. Shot through the window, tagged heavy. He was looking for a spawn peak, but couldn't find it, and all of a sudden, health advantage in favor of 303 at the moment. Doesn't mean they're guaranteed the round. We've seen that before. Silver, he's obviously been taking Maverick lessons from our elite because there's a bit of a line, not a straight one. It's enough to do the job though at the very least, and he will finally get that wall open. It's not a bad commit, not bad timing either for that to happen. Holes open.
Oh,
And this man is just sheer aggression at the end of the day. The fact that he's been able to punish this 303 Esports team from this spot both times on this bomb site is absolutely insane.
It is insane. Axon's still be holding that Raptors angle, but now there's 3 different angles he's got to worry about. Sure, the Hibana did get pushed off a little bit more. You don't have to worry about that angle as much. Track trying to pull an Eska, going from below with the frag grenades. Not going to find a lot of action there either. It's a battle of chip damage between both of these teams. Krill's the first one most likely to go down, especially if he meets the guys of that Malusi, but instead Zag, seemingly out of nowhere, is able to find Track down below. Was there an angle? Yes, there was an angle near A site. That was a great lateral kill. And we've been seeing so much more of these multilateral vertical kills than I think I have in any other series in Siege.
Yeah, the verticality really, it's been an interesting one considering that it's been the defenders that have been the one to punish that verticality. Frag grenade being cooked here by Silver, but no! It doesn't matter. He was shot, almost getting the martyr kill onto Sovereign, who was playing off the shoulder. Sovereign will kill out Action, so they do get vengeance, but Krill is going to be the one to go down off the back of it. Every single time that a kill is found by 303 Esports on this bomb site, the price must be paid in blood. And it was Krill that had to pay in that situation. The question is, can they get him up? Vicacious is watching Garage. Might be able to find a frag prone on the floor, sorry, but no. He decides better if it goes back, goes for the pickup. Situation where, again, they could be punished. But luckily, Sovereign is pressuring onto the bomb site, so they've got some cover at the very least. 3 versus 3, Keg, with 20 seconds left on the clock. Someone has to force something, and it's so close to breaking, it could go either way.
Oh man, I'm shaking right now. If I were any of these members left alive, they're gonna push through, get onto the site. The Maestro's gonna remain safe at the top of the stairs, but that plant needs to go down. Sovereign's gonna find Limbo. The Maestro falls. No, he doesn't. Now he falls. That's gonna be a double kill, a team double kill, no less. Dom is able to find another one, and no! Hostile actions are able to bring it back. No plants here today. That is a great tiebreaker once again, and you know what? I don't believe in magic anymore. Everything's
He
dead to me.
finds the player on the plant, the perfect angle that he needed to deny the round, and just Dom hits it just right. They had players in cash. They were forcing off the remnants of the defense. Just Dom was locked out of the site, comes up through Garage, somehow finds this miracle angle and shuts down the plant. I mean,
Maybe
you asked, yeah, dude, do you believe in magic? That was magic incarnate. Like, that is not a situation that you will ever find yourself in again.
What are we gonna call that angle, Blue Panda? What are we gonna call it?
Absolutely disgusting. I don't know how they didn't read in the fact that he was coming from behind, but look, hey, if I'm going to call it anything, it's the Dom angle.
The Dom angle. Sounds pretty dominant.
There was an attempt made. There was an attempt made. I'll give you that. Look, hey, we'll leave the memes up to the. Actually, no, you're a East Coast as well, so actually it makes a lot more sense. It worked. We'll give you that. But now, look, hey, Kig, this is the bomb site that we didn't get to see last time round. We're going to be heading back to Gym Bedroom, and from the looks of things, there already has been a couple of changes. Axon puts his shield into showers, which was where Devils put his last time. So maybe, just maybe, that Vulcan shield was a little bit detrimental to their defense.
Possibly, but where's Mira?
Attackers are moving out to
Look,
locate
hey,
the
I
bomb.
said, I 100% reckon it's a situation where hostile action just haven't pracked or stratted with, Mira on this bomb site. So, oh my, what was, I don't know what happened there. It looked like Devil was putting down his shield backwards, but he gets there in the end. They're going for a very, very spread horizontal hold. Like, there's, you want to play in situations where you can go for those refrags, but the fact that, they are so far spread means that if they lose control of casualties, they lose a couple of frags off the back of it, that defense is that much weaker. You can't just 100% pull back to the site because there is an easy way to cut off the rotate. Put someone watching into construction, it's going to be that much harder to get in there. They're going to start their pressure up. In fact, they're going for a multi-pronged attack. Silver is going to be opening up Kuzi. They're going through, oh my lord, Nitro selling him out, and he was almost punished heavy, but not quite. But they've also started up over CCTV. They can come and angle, push hostile action to a situation where their backs are against each other, and then just gun them.
I'm curious to see who's going to get that first engagement. We did see a little bit of that C4 play go down, but no. In fact, it was nobody. Axon could find this first frag, playing his cards right. It's going to be Devils, though, playing on the cams, trying to help out his buddy, but it's Vicacious who's playing a very, well, Vicacious kind of game right now. He's going to go super aggressive, but Axon's ready to pop the fire when it's just about ready. But there's so many angles being held throughout right now. Only right around the corner, the Hibana might be in trouble as well. There's so many different attackers inside of CCTV that there's a lot of pressure on HA. If they're able to find at least one of these attackers, they're golden. They're golden, Panda. But right now, it's not looking like the play. It's going to be the Goyo to fall first. Sovereign's able to find Devils, and he's been a huge playmaker in the past. And seeing him fall, of course, the refrag central, it seems, back and forth. Vicacious is able to find Axon, but Zag is there to save the day. Panda, you've lost your two top fraggers so far.
Yeah, just holding the angles, and Sovereign is going to be punished by Limbo as he rotated back downstairs. Silver wasn't quite covering the way he needed to be. As a result, they lose out in one, almost lose out in a second. Zag able to get away some damage. Krill before he pulls back into Master. Attractive, or Track in general, just he hasn't had much to say in this round. He's sitting there droning out to figure out where these defenders are and provide that added security. And Silver finds the nade onto Zag. Vengeance is his for his teammates, and all of a sudden, you've got Dom and Limbo. They are pushed back towards the stairs, back towards Logi, and as the rotate in, but it's just too little, too late. He's stuck in red corridor. Can he find an angle? Can he get himself in? Almost drops down. Sees the player going for the plant on the bed. Might be able to deny here yet again. He drops downstairs. He's going to be able to play around that. Nitro catches the player from behind. Krill just not watching his angles somehow. Desperately, hostile action have managed to hold onto this. Now Limbo can push himself up the stairs, look to contest onto the bomb, and he's going to swing any second. And somehow, hostile action 2 rounds in a row have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
Talk about being stuck in limbo. Final kill, a 4K no less, coming out from Limbo, able to secure Jim almost single-handedly. And now that we crossed different sides now, we're going to see them on the attack, and I really hope we can see that coordination that they had on the defense this time around, Panda, because when we saw it on Villa, it just simply was not there.
I mean, unfortunately, Keg, we've been in the situation before. Hostile action on their defensive half in Villa. They took it 4-2. They still lost out anyway. Now it's going to be 3-0-3. They're heading over to the defense. Could we see the same thing? It's not like their attack was, overwhelmingly strong, but it wasn't as good as their defense can be. So now going into this, we're going to see Sovereign going to be the one to pick up Wemo. We know this guy can frag. And if we see him on CCTV holding the same rafters position, it could be a repeat performance of what we saw at Exit.
I could see it being a repeat performance. I think we're going to see hostile actions go a little bit slower. This has been a commonality that we've seen from them in the past when they were attackers previously in SCS, and that includes the Villa matchup we just saw. We do see maybe 2 holding rafters if the Maestro wants to be courteous enough to stay there. Probably not gonna, though. It's gonna be mostly the Wamai's job. but I'm curious to see if it's going to be a Raptors take like we saw 303 bring out, or if they're going to divvy things up and maybe go logistics or Jacuzzi and gonna go for that prong attack that they were more opting for on
5
Jim.
seconds to go.
Well, questions will be answered once we head the action phase, but Vicacious is picking up the Mozzie once again. This man has done a lot of work with the operator. We know just how impactful he can be when given that freedom of movement. And it looks like, no, it's not going to be a wham I hold onto rafters. It's going to be a Maestro instead. They're going to go with the big older over that MP5. As good as it is, more ammo is just a little bit better. At the moment, they're trying to figure out what is going to be the approach. Big thing already that you got to be noticing, Keg. Mav is not here.
Yeah, Mav is not here. Normally what we do see, especially when Ace was quarantined for a while, was that we do see 3 hard breachers like to tend to be played on CCTV. You have the Maverick for the lift, you have the Hibanas for the hatches, you have the Thermite for the main wall if the Maverick can't do a whole lot of action. But speaking of action, Vicacious is going to find Devils. That's going to be a great opening pick for the Ash to go down, but it just keeps on going. Dom's able to find another one. It's going to be Krill going down, and it's just a back and forth slaughterfest. There's no utility being played. This is TDM. Sovereign's able to find Dom. It's trade after trade after trade. But now we're going to go back to a little bit of a slower matchup. Never mind. Just kidding. Vicacious is able to find Axton. Another trade for a trade for a trade. Panda, it just keeps on going. It's just an absolute string ripple effect. And now with Zag approaching into Jacuzzi with the rest of his teammates, we are seeing that pronged attack after all.
Yeah, I mean, Clubhouse, I mean, with all, actually, I'd say all 4 bomb sites, even though bar stock really isn't played, you have to go for multi-pronged attacks. You cannot just be forcing in the one direction, otherwise you're going to be punished heavily. So, CCTV, you need to be coming in from con and from CCTV wall, or coming up red stairs and garage. There needs to be 2 approaches, because 9 times out of 10, if you just try and force your way through a breach, or force your way in through cash, or red stairs, you're just going to be absolutely murdered. Vicacious with a bit of a even run, just carries on going. Spots out the player Limbo below, who's just looking to dish out some damage with the frag grenades, but no one is on the breach, no one able to punish him. Zag, he's looking to try and get himself in, and he has at least distracted them for the moment. And Limbo could be the one to do some real damage, tossing the nades in. All the defenders have pulled back, playing the defensive angles. Limbo goes for a spray, but can't quite find it. Vicacious gonna tag him back for his effort. Zag sees a player prone on the rafters, but can't get the kill there either. And there's no time to really feel comfortable. Zag finds track, but with ticking time coming the way of 303, they do shut it down. Limbo swung in, found Sovereign, but Silver still has that older in hand, just pulls it out, holds down mouse 1, and does not stop until they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, let the 81 sing, I think pretty much said itself. We did see a 3-round lead coming out from HA, or at least 3 rounds in a row now. Going to be stopped short by 303. That 4-2 split that we did see a kind of a little bit, not quite, is now going to be that 4-3. 303, we saw them in the same exact position on Villa. They were in the loser seat when we swapped halves, and then they started making an incredible comeback and into overtime. Panda, do you think we're going to see overtime this time, or can 303 tighten things up a little bit more and really drive it through before they reach that match point margin?
Well, as much as I would be okay with seeing a bit of overtime here on Clubhouse, I feel like now that 303 are in the defensive half, they are just going to close it out. We know that they're stronger when it comes to the defense. They picked up the 2 rounds they got in their attacking half on Villa. From here, they can just look to put it over the edge. 3 rounds is all it's going to take to get them to map point 4, to get themselves the win here. Hostile action, they've looked lackluster in all honesty on their attacking side. The best they can hope for is to at least get overtime, get themselves at some points on the board, because if they let 303 play their game, play the way that we know they can, this could entirely be shut out.
Look, if you're hostile action right now, you just need 2 more rounds, at the very least on the attack. 303 need 3 more and then some to bring it home, but you just need 2. You just need 2.
It's all maths at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more complex than straight 1 + 1 = 2. There's 31 rounds in a mag, 81. Got to incorporate there 2 frag grenades, 3 flashbangs. So in the end, it looks a little bit more like algebra than straightforward arithmetic. As we get things underway, though, it's going to be Zag starting up the opening onto that wall and dirt tunnel. Vulcan shields galore. They've got a smoke there as well. Track going to be the one contesting. Early X-Kyra is going out. I think he missed the top right-hand corner one, but Impact comes out. He goes for the second. There are 4 of them down in the basement, so they might have to rely on Zag to get it open. Impact throwing, but fragged out on the attempt. So the hatch will be opened up. Sovereign just missing the angle that he needed to deny it. As Hostile Action are struggling with the soft barricade there. They will finally get it open. They can start their push in. Track is going to shoot the drone out. But they lost a player early, and it's a Malusi as well. They also lost the kitchen hatch, so there's a couple of big advantages that have now gone the way of Hostile Action.
Definitely some big advantages, but Panda, keep in mind too, if you had to lose one defender, it should be Malusi. She's already put her gadgets down. She's got a crazy gun, sure. She's the top fragger, sure. But at least in terms of pure utility and gun usage, at least it's Malusi and not, say, Smoke or Maestro.
I mean, Goya, you could afford to lose,
Goya.
I suppose. I think, honestly, if you're 303 Esports, I mean, not to throw any shade, but I think they would have been a little bit happier if it was Krill that had gone down over Sovereign, because Sovereign really has just been finding some big frags post the rehost. Krill, he's yet to get on the board. He's been contributing to the team, but not in the way that gets him kills. Zag going to be tagged low here as they are still stalled out of this dirt tunnel push. 1 toxic canister left, so they have the tools to just halt that momentum further. Flash grenade coming in. Track will just back off it. They are going to try and do everything they can to brute force their way in. Drones, unfortunately, shot out, so Hostile Action might have to work off just pure fragging potential alone. Action at the moment pushed all the way to bottom main. Can't quite tag up Krill as he sprints past the doorway. And I don't think Krill quite understands just how close to death he came there. Looks back and says, geez, that's lucky. Track at the moment, still in dirt with that M590. This is going to be a brutal push if Hostile Action go for it. I think everyone knows what it plays like. And Krill, he finally gets on the board. So Track that M590, dropping in through the hatch. Krill is going to dish out some real damage, but is there to absolutely punish. Oh no, Track goes down to the nitro cell. And Krill, he will redeem himself with an unofficial quad kill, because one of them was his teammate.
I mean, hey, a kill's a kill. You know who said that?
Me. I stand by that 100%.
Yeah, you said that. You said that. Quad kill, huh?
Hey, look, it worked for them. Like it came down to the dying moments. They had hatch open, Hostile Action were forcing through. And again, I think it comes down to that time management aspect, which I've been talking about. They backed themselves into a situation where they had to 100% commit to the bomb site with no time to clear it out. And that's exactly what happened. They were able to punish. I don't know what Track was doing, answering any from Krill in that situation. It did cost him his life. But hey, they won the round. They bring it back to 4-4 as we now head to Jim. And look who's here, Keg!
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah, duh, Maverick. No, I'm just kidding. It's Mira. Mira finally being shown on Gym and Bedroom. Of course, there's really only one mirror setup that is 100% always used here, and that's going to be in the bathroom wall heading towards Jacuzzi. Other mirror walls could be in some beneficial spots. It's really going to depend how it goes in tandem with Castle, but if the Castle is in default spots as well, it could very well be on this B-side wall. It could very well be near any wall in logistics, essentially. There's a lot of options with Mira on this site, and I would say it's one of the few sites still in Siege where Mira is fully viable. And by that, I mean most teams will scrim with this actual Mira setup, whereas other teams, they just assume she's going to be auto-banned.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, there has been a couple of things that I have seen when it comes to mirror setups here. One is what a Track is doing now. Sometimes you can put the mirror window there, looking in from logistics. Sometimes you put it in cache as well, contesting TV. The other one that I've seen is you put one in bathroom on the bomb site. You then put your next one onto Jacuzzi wall itself. So it just gives you that added information. It looks like it's going to be in Logi here, contesting into con, which, I mean, there is potential that the drop down from the hatch happens and you get pumped heavily, but I mean, hey, look, you want to lock down con, you want to give your team that added security of being able to rotate back.
I'm curious to see how that security is going to go. We do see Sovereign inside Cash Dash, and if you remember, this Cash Dash hold for Hostile didn't quite go the way they hoped it did. There was a lot of trade action going down. That was the first trade palooza we'd seen. Devils now once was Vicacious, and now Vicacious is going to be the defender in this shoes. This might be a Cinderella story. It might be a repeat again. Already some chip damage going down against Sovereign, but I don't. If Sovereign's able to hold the angles and not play aggressive, this could be the angle and first opening pick for Devils. But right now, the Malusi is going to be holding on tight. Vicacious not too far behind, holding the cross angle. It's going to depend on who peeks the wrong angle first. It's a 2v2 right now. Forget about Siege. Forget about tactics, baby. It's all about this 2v2 TDM action, but both are going to back off and relinquish control of CCTV and play off the Miras.
I think Sovereign was incredibly lucky to get away the way. You saw that Zag was opening cash wall. If they'd had a player watching as that opened, which is a strategy that some teams have started to pick up on, you pick someone like the Ying, someone with a huge mag, you sit them there, as soon as that breach opens, you just start firing and you can do some real damage. Luckily though, doesn't happen. Sovereign will just be able to escape, pull back to the bomb site, and the drone's coming in. Mute Jam is there to shut things down. Sovereign, look, they've pulled back a player to try and cover. Frag grenade gonna go in. Track goes down. Unfortunately, as much cover as you want to be giving, cannot deny frag grenades the way that a Jaeger or a Whamai can. So Track will go down. They've got no one to cover the angle. Means it's more ground now conceded. Luckily, the wall is open. Vicacious might be able to do some damage with that M5 of his, but it's a risky battle as Devils will finally finish off Track, having dropped down and got the kill. They've got control of Logi. They've got a mirror window into Con as well. So anyone looking to go aggressive could quite easily be punished. Silver, he's watching main stairs. At the moment, for 303 are trying to cover all their bases. Unfortunately, that's a lot of bases to cover.
Yeah, and with the timer ticking down so much, Vicacious is able to find the refrag finally on Devils, concluding the CCTV story. But so many of these attackers now are going to be inside logistics. They're going to be pushing on forwards. They're unafraid. They have the ACOGs. They have the side advantage here. But Vicacious is there with his own special abilities. That being able to get headshots. That's a double kill for him. And while the rest of the team is swarming on him, he's still going to be alive. Axon's able to find Vicacious. A 1v3. Silver's able to bring it back a little bit. Axon's going to fall down. It's going to be a 1v2 now, but everyone knows exactly who each other is. Krill wants to end it all. Find just Dom. No Dom angles today. And we're going to be moving on again with another defender win for Jim Sight.
Yeah, time management again, just really crippling Hostile action on their attack. Like, they got early positional advantage. They got control of Logi, they got control of Cash, they didn't lose anything out. And then all of a sudden, the map stalls out for about 1 minute and 10 seconds. By that stage, you know, there's 30 seconds left on the clock. They have to force something. They're just running into choke points where they're gunned down and absolutely obliterated. And then there has to be an answer here for Hostile action. They pulled some amazing stuff out on the defense. Why can they not do the same on the attack? We head back down to CCTV. This is a bomb site that hasn't yet been played by 303. Zag is going to preemptively go onto the IQ, but again, that's sacrificing such a key operator on the attack. Now it's all on the shoulders of Axon to get CCTV wall open or get open Con and then Cash wall. But if they lose Axon at any point before the 2-minute mark hits, this round is over. 303 take it and they move on to...
I wouldn't say there's a... Well, I guess, yeah, there is a pretty huge reliance on Axon. I thought there was a Maverick at first, but I was incorrect. Usually the Hibana in this position would just be opening up the garage walls, get that angle on the rotate if anyone Raptors goes onto the site, but no, that's not going to be the case. Instead, we're seeing a very risky play coming up from Hostile actions, and already, Panda, I'm thinking this is a huge misstep. In fact, half the walls aren't even reinforced. You get the sledge to move on in, it will nullify anything we've said.
I mean, they've got the more important of the two garage walls done. Like, you want the far one closed up and you know, denied.
You soft breach it open.
But no, so you want the close one is a little bit better. The far one is the one you want because it TV. It's not an absolute loss, but you look at that accent. I think he Oh my lord, he messed up the initial X-Cairo, so he's had to commit all 3 sets to that window, and they have... Oh my lord, they're just feeding into CCTV window, 2 dead, Sovereign's found them, 3 frags there, Track shuts it down, they're going in, Hostile Action might even steal this one away, Limbo is so incredibly low, this is not a read that I expected, Krill, he's got to find something, he's going to go below for the Nitro Cell, this might be a double, he's lined it up, he's knocked down Zag, and Limbo is down but not out. This is the freest round that I think 303 could ever have picked up. Defuse will come out. Map point achieved for 303. What a bold read from Hostile Action. And unfortunately, it's a read that they achieved with their eyes closed.
Why? Why any of that? That was almost a retake from Hostile. They almost had that game, or that round. But why? They all went through a single window, Panda.
Hey, you got the bomb down, you got the diffuser down. There was some thought put into it, but...
do a 2v2, Panda.
Yeah,
How?
look, I'm not saying it was a good read, but it was a read.
That wasn't a read. That's like saying a speaking spells reading.
Well, I think you may have just insulted half of the American education system right now.
That's me.
Yikes. No, I'm not going to take that one back. I've heard the stories.
Fair enough. You're right. I go to college. I get you. But no,
Yeah.
we do see the Nox 6 picked out into the Zofia, and the Nox wouldn't be the, well, actually it would be a pretty bad option here. You're already 2 points down. It's series point. 303 is already a map up, and if they take this one, it's a best of 2, not even a best of 3. You'd be donezo. But the Zofia would be the safer option here. We're seeing plenty of safe options now with the Thermite and Hibana, Panda, but I mean, at this point, that play made me very skeptical about anything going forwards with Hostile Actions.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a bit of tilt coming out of Hostile Action. Like, they went for an attempt. Unfortunately, Sovereign was just sitting on the window, gunned down the first 2 players through the window, and then Track was there to back it up. Yeah, look, hey, they tried something. They tried something very, very bold. They also had a player who just went for a straight Nitro Cell from below and took out the... So there's not really any contest that could have come in that post-plant situation, unfortunately, for Hostile Action. Now they're 1 point away from losing the series. In fact, they've taken both maps in the opening half, 4-2, and then it's just come back and they've lost out. And yeah, okay, Sovereign, he's lucky this time. We didn't, in fact, see it. I think... No, I have no idea what that was. I have absolutely no clue, but Krill, he's going to find the opener. Onto Devils again. Unfortunately, losing it on the Ash early is potentially signaling the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I mean, losing Devils is definitely not the best place to be in. After the rehost, he's gone 1-8, so the entry's definitely not the best place for him to be in this game, it seems. But even then, losing down the body count, the hatch didn't open up, it seems, either. Limbo's able to find Sovereign, so a trade does go through, and it looks like more than just a trade. A little bit of pop shot action going on Silver is going to be into effect as well. But even then, you didn't open the hatch. You're struggling. You got the opening pick against you. I think you're right. This is the beginning of the end here, but whoever gets that next death, it's going to be that team that loses.
Unfortunately, they overcommitted impacts onto that kitchen hatch. So, actually, no, never mind. Somehow they've managed to deny it. Anyway, from what I saw, it was looking like they might have been able to do it. Oh no, they used it onto the bar hatch instead. So they used 2 sets of X-Kairos onto the kitchen hatch. Both times they were impact tricked. The defenders overcommitted in one of those attempts, which meant they didn't have enough to do all 3 sets. But for some reason, they relocated Axon and went for the bar hatch instead. They've still got Zag with the exothermics that they can make use of, but he's already down main stairs, opening up Church Wall at the moment. Hostile Action, they're trying to force their way in. We know that they struggle with time management, so this time they're going nice and early to try and make it happen. Or Axon drops down Oil Pit, and Krill, he's ready and waiting there with that Vector of his. Might be able to make something happen. Even has the Nitro Cell should the push come, but Vicacious, he's the one to take down Zag. He's going to deny a lot of potential. Oh, okay, you don't duck around the shield like that. That's what happens. Limbo takes his head off. Plant coming out from Dom. Axon just runs straight up blue. Can he find the kill? No! Or he does it at the end. Active is still alive, finds the refrag. Plant has gone down, and it's a 1v2. SMG11 takes out Dom. He's been put down, but it's his own. Get back up. Can they shut it down? Toxic Canister will do it here. And with the plant on the ground, attractive. He's got one toxic canister left. He might even be able to lock it out. If he can throw it in the right place, if he can deny, he might be able to do it. He thinks he's on main stairs. Oh, that's a bit of a big read. He's going to go for the defuse here. Limbo's relocated. No! If attractive, he sticks it on here. He might be able to deny. Toxic canister is still there. He's sitting on the defuse. He pulls off. He's going to go for the shot, but misses. Nade is in. And unfortunately, time is not going to be there. If Track had stuck the defuse, the round would be over. He's back on it. Frag grenade being cooked here. Can Track do it? I don't think so. If Track had stuck the defuse initially, even the second time, that would have been a win going the way of 303.
I really thought that was going to be 303's round. They did pretty much everything right. Just letting go of that diffuser at the very end was the only misplay I think I definitively saw. But hostile actions, man, they are just all over the place. They have broken all laws and decrees of Rainbow Six. They're just playing their own game right now, and frankly, it's kind of working now.
We're going to be heading back down to basement. It was so close to that entire map being shut out, and the entire series, in fact, but we're going to head to the end of regulation. So there is a chance we still see OT coming into it. They are bringing the double breach once again, but Krill... Oh, sorry, that's right, Jaeger's banned, so Krill has to switch it up anyway. He's going to go for Elysian rather than the Goyo. So good read from them. Didn't even have to say anything. So yeah, they've communicated that. They've given, competitive integrity the play here. What a shot. They've done it very, very well. It's so disheartening. And I think it isn't going to be... this is happening for 303 if they go back, watch the VOD, and realize that they have the option. They had the potential to close that map out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was a tough position to be in for both teams. It was interesting to see that 303 just never really even gave or had control of Moto in the first place. That whole L corner of Moto in the hallway was just free for the Thermite, or I'm sorry, Zag, to just open up without any contestation. Sure, Kaid is banned, but even then, a mute jammer would have sufficed. I'm not sure if one was destroyed. I want to say no. But even then, we're not seeing anything to deny these walls from opening up, minus impact grenades just for the tricking. But it's a tough position to be in. But we're gonna see Church again, and with the reinforcements on the last wall going down, I think that they're setting up the same exact plays as before for 303's side. It's up to hostile action to do something a little bit different this time, or we could see overtime.
Well, looks like hostile action, they're gonna do a bit better of a job of roam clearing. They're going to go for the full top-down approach here as Vicacious just providing some support to his teammate Track, throwing some magnets over the top shoulder. X-Kairo's out, but the impact immediately coming in as a response. You see the number of impacts on the board, total 6 here, as the second set of X-Kairos will now be destroyed. Sovereign there, covering all their bases. Floor opened up immediately, but above Sovereign will mean he pulls off the angle. Limbo's looking to contest here, has that SMG-11, and all of a sudden, they've got a couple of options, and none of them involve X-Kairos right now.
Yeah, you've already lost out on pretty much all of the hard breach you've brought in store for this upper level of the place. We do see Moto hatch open though, however, and this could give permission for the Thermite to drop and open up the wall of Church again. We saw this happen before, and now with the Hibana at least having a little bit of backup now, that's probably most likely what we're going to see next. Of course, we do see Devil trying to go in and find some of the pop shot action going down below, seeing what angles he can find, but unfortunately a little unsuccessful there as well. Dom's going to play a little bit of a part as well, opening up the concussions, trying to find any sort of either confusion for the defenders or just destroying any utilities. But even then, that's not going to happen either, Panda. If anything, we could see our first opening pick not go down in blue like I was going to say. Limbo's going to find silver, and now we see the drops. It's officially begun. Possibly the beginning of the end.
Well, they're going to get the exothermic up onto the church wall. Toxic canisters. There's one left for Track here as he tries to deny. Stun's just going to... Oh, okay, no, that's off the beam. He somehow managed to hit the one spot that wasn't wide open, so gets the second one through. Krill, he realizes he might be in a bit of danger. Does have that impact. Should he be able to pull off the impact trick here? They're going to have to force through funnels. Vicacious brings it back, finds the kill onto action. That's going to be your Hibana gone. All the utility used, but even still, that Type 89 is such a great gun in some of these clutch situations. They're going to be tagged low. I think they did. They got the impact trick off, so no breach going to be coming. They're going to have to force in through the finals. Player in blue, oh my lord, Dom just sees the head and all of a sudden it's gone. Swinging wide, he's going to find the second one is tracked. Over aggressive Sovereign. Can he find anything here? Sees the player snaking. Krill will get the first onto Zag, so they brought it back even. It's a 2 versus 2. Will be shut out by the impact grenade. Sovereign, he sees the next one. His target is in sight. Can't quite connect it, but it's Krill from behind. Finds Devil Limbo. Has to force in through blue. He's all alone. Even Dom doesn't have faith because time is not there. 3-0-3. Somehow pull it out of the bag and take the series 2-0.
What just happened? I feel like I'm watching a Twilight Zone episode. That was not how you play Siege, and I am very angry. No, I'm just kidding. Overall, those were some wild last, 3 rounds that we saw. The rush that came in from HA, the destruction of HA, and them even winning that church round? What? Or coming close to winning church. They didn't win it in the... Actually, no, they did win it.
No, they
I
won the
apologize.
first time, but off the
brain
back
is
of the track
scrambled
was...
eggs. It's leaking out of my ears, Panda. I'm not taking my headset off because it would just bloop out.
Well, welcome back, Rigel. We got there in the end.
It was a lot. It was a long time, you know, it was a long time coming for Clubhouse. We had that very long rehost, unfortunately, but we came back and it was still a very exciting game. We saw all 12 rounds. Yet again, we saw 14, obviously, in the last one, but we did make it for quite the long haul today. I was happy with the result of this one. I think 303 did what they needed to do to honestly propel themselves to a potential 6th place, and that's exactly where you want to be here in this upcoming week number 6 here. So it looks like we are going to have an interview, and it's going to be from Silver, who is on 303. Phenomenal performance from them tonight. So I'm going to let go ahead Blue or Keg, whoever wants to take over and ask their questions for him.
I'll jump in first. Welcome, Silver. You guys finally finished off that series. It took you a wee while, but you got there. You guys must be feeling pretty good after that.
Yes, we are feeling great after the win on Villa in particular, because not gonna lie, I've messed up the bans and we've never scrimmed Villa.
Oh, okay. So they still put it out anyway. Well, congratulations. I won't keep you too long. I've only got one question, and I want to talk about. So you've struggled in a couple of these rounds so far, especially on attack. There was 2 in particular on Clubhouse, which got a little bit too close to be comfortable. So you're going for the plant in CCTV, and then Dom runs up the stairs, kills the guy in the plant. What's going through your mind is you run out of time and lose the... There was off the back of that one that you guys lost as well. So was there a couple of moments in Clubhouse where you were getting a little bit concerned that they might bring it back?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't ever really worried about it. It kind of got into the back of my mind when they won I think it was 3 rounds in a row? Yeah, they won 3 rounds in a row right after the rehost, and I got worried for a little bit, and then we just started stomping them.
I mean,
one round.
sorry.
That one round, Panda. You know the one. You know the crazy one.
Yeah, Dom, he found an angle, but like there was a couple of interesting situations. The one final round that I want to talk about. So it was mostly onto Sovereign. He was sitting there, happy as anything, cashed door with his shield, and then all of a sudden, the entirety of hostile action just through CCTV window. What was his response?
He started screaming, "They're in! They're in! They're in! CC window! CC window!"
Oh, that sounds a little familiar.
Oh, it was fantastic. Track started screaming too. He was like, "Ah, they're in!" Everyone joined in on that. It was great.
You guys pulled it out of the bag in that round. Like we were not expecting just a straight funnel into the bomb site. Sovereign finds 2, Track finds another one. All of a sudden, it's in a 2v2, and then you've got a player below anyway with a knight. Completely stops the round. You guys definitely prove that you guys can play under pressure.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
spectacular
No,
job.
I was gonna say, yeah, Keg, you've probably got some questions too. I know there were a couple of moments we were blown away in that series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the crazy moments we saw from you guys, Silver, I mean, the reaction from that rush that HA, for whatever reason, thought might be a good idea, but just walk us through those last 2 rounds. Nothing in particular, really, but just the tense moments of, you've brought this back from the dead on Villa. You pretty much brought it back from the dead again on Clubhouse, but it's just those inches away that may have stopped you guys, especially with HA in that very final gunfight, almost taking it back to overtime. Tell me how you were feeling about that.
The second to last round, the round that we lost on the basement defense.
The general feeling of it, the ambiance.
the second to last round that we had lost, we weren't really worried. We knew what mistakes we made, and we made the adjustments to fix it. As you saw, we brought the extra set of impacts so that we could stop them from getting church wall, and we also didn't waste an extra impact on the kitchen hatch. So we denied them that wall, and it just wouldn't. It didn't let them plant. It funneled them into moto and long haul and
Now I'm
blue.
gonna ask you about the gunfight, the final gunfight, the 2v2, the actual grand larceny that we saw at the bottom of Church Arsenal. How did that go down? What were the comms like?
There weren't any comms. It was it was like dead silence in the comms, and then Krill got the last kill, and we just said it was a bunch of yelling.
Nice.
Perfect.
That's what's up. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. The silence and then the explosion. Beautiful work. A great ending to a beautiful set here tonight.
Well,
Yes, sir. It was a
I'll tell
mega.
ya, I've got one thing to add here for Silver, and then we can hop on over to our analyst desk. Silver, is there anybody that you want to shout out? Your org, your teammates, anybody like that that you want to highlight from today?
My two favorite ranked carries at Cryptic Krill and at Vacacious.
All right, perfect. Well, with that being said, man, congrats on the victory today. Congrats on the points. You guys are way up there now with a huge chance of keeping it for playoffs for the remainder of the season. So we'll see you guys next week for sure.
All right.
Alrighty, guys. Well, Keg, Blue, thanks again for everything you did today. You guys are phenomenal. I know everyone in the chat was very much happy to hear you guys on the casting booth tonight, but I
Aw.
think that is going to end our time together for the evening, and we are going to send it on over to our friends
Man,
Matt
man,
and Smith. But
Hurry up,
we're-
Panda! Hurry up before they take us away!
I'll do this.
I don't know how
I don't know, my camera's on a weird angle.
I don't know how to do it!
Close enough, close enough. That'll loop.
This
They
is
get
horrible.
the idea. It's a
Yeah,
malformed
we
card.
tried. But in any case, guys, thanks again for everything. We'll see you guys next week as well on the schedule for inevitably some amazing casting talent there. But Matt, Smith, come on up, my friends. Let's hear what you guys have to say about Clubhouse. It was a fun one for sure.
It's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance. Do your dance at the Space Jam.
Smith,
What's going on?
what is going on?
What's up, homies? What's up, homies?
That was the best intro that I think I've ever seen, dude. That was like some WWE type walk-up energy. Oh my god.
I was debating whether using John Cena song, to be honest.
You love to see that. Oh my.
Alrighty.
Oh goodness.
Well, we're
gracious.
talking about Space Jams. Let's get into the Space Slams, which was this match between 303 and Hostile Actions on Clubhouse. One thing that stood out to me was the attacking side was definitely the main factor. On defense, both teams were able to do a relatively good job at holding off the attackers, but those few times that the attackers slipped through the cracks, those were the rounds that really determined this game.
Oh, I don't even know, man. Like, cause, like, 303, they did a great job at going against what they were going against. You know, cause I was not expecting them to win this round. That round, where they just funneled through that CC window. I was literally, I'm not even gonna lie, I was like, what the hell am I watching? Cause I did not know what was happening. I was wondering why all of them were outside that window, and then I knew. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane.
It was just a combination of nutty plays, I think, in this one. I mean, we saw it all game. We saw it from the beginning when I believe it was who was it on Hostile Actions? Axon, I think it was, playing the Mai getting the 4K, I believe it was, to start off the game or second round of the game, either one, all the way up until that window play. People getting punished for just sitting in their positions trying to impact trick. It was all around just an interesting game. Lots of stuff going on. What do you guys think was the most impactful player for this one? Like, who had the most presence,
Ooh.
if you would have to guess?
I mean, on both sides, I can pick one person. You gotta look at the player of Axon. Axon played a really good game. He was the support player. He did well. He got the hatches open. as the Hibana. He was able to use his Wamai, hold down areas such as blue inside his CCTV. He did his job in that sense. Also, on the other side, you're looking at 303. I'm going to give it to... I mean, it's a real tough one, but again, I'm focusing more on the support players, so I think I'm going to go with Silver. Just because they played a really good game. Overall, the support players have been kind of the main key in these two matches between Villa and Clubhouse, just because of the 20-second meta. If you don't have your support players alive in the 20-second meta, especially when those attackers are trying to funnel in, it's going to be very, very difficult as a defender to try and hold off those attackers.
As far as like the most impactful players on both sides for me, I'd have to say it goes to Limbo. I think he was one of the key clutchers in some of those rounds, and it showed. You know, especially that. I mean, honestly, that smoke. I would have stuck it if I were him, but I'm not in his position, obviously. So a lot of it, he played off of his opponent's mistakes. I was wondering because I was on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat for that one. And Limbo ended up clutching that one out. Limbo definitely one of the key players for Hostile Actions for me. As far as 303 goes, I think I gotta give it. Give it to Sovereign. He showed a lot of improvement this map. He wasn't doing too hot in map 1, and he definitely showed himself his true potential this round, because I know he was sub for Amarok, and he was playing for the team for a little bit. I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but Amarok disbanded, correct?
A lot of the players left, but I don't think it was ever made official. I never saw anything through there, but I know that at least 2 of their players left.
Well, he was looking for opportunities, and I think he found a good place in 303. I think they mesh well together.
I think I would have to agree with you there. Sovereign was definitely the right pickup for them. I mean, he assisted their game quite a bit, just in terms of, you know, his mechanical skill and then his game sense as well, just knowing what to do, where to do it, and when to do it. It was beautiful. But at the same time, too, I've played a couple of guys from 303 before, back in my days as a comp player. I remember Krill and Silver, I believe it was, from when they were on Molecular. They're nuts. I mean, they're a solid roster. So if you would put together a team of 5 people that can enable each other, which I think is exactly what's happening now that they have Sovereign. They're all enabling and working off each other. They're going to get things done. They're going to exploit the weaknesses of the enemy team and, you know, win games. And here we are.
I mean, that holds true, because Hostile's actions, like their biggest thing, and their like biggest, I'd say top 2, top 3 things, was they weren't very adaptable. They were trying to force the same way of play or same push over and over again. You can and that kind of chopped up to whoever won their gunfights rather than who outsmarted the enemy, you know. And 303, they're better gunners, no doubt. And it just, that's why 303 won, because they weren't Hostile Actions were very adaptable, and they were just trying to force the same way of plays. They were making mistakes like overextending, not really coordinating together, and just being predictable, basically.
I would have to almost disagree with you in that sense. A lot of the reason why 303 pulled out a lot of those rounds was because Hostile Actions made a lot of mistakes and a lot of miscues. It came down to Limbo running out on spawn peaks. They try to get these, I want to say, highlight plays, and they weren't necessarily the most impactful and smart decisions on the part of just trying to win rounds. On 303, they didn't force anything. It just came down to them holding their own. The executes on their attacks were relatively good, but then again, both of these teams struggled on attack, and that was very prevalent from Villa. And I thought going over to Clubhouse, it might prove to be a little bit more different in terms of how they wanted to execute, but it was almost more of the same. These teams really, really struggled on attack, and I think that's why you saw that last-ditch effort when they jumped in through CCTV window. Didn't win them the round, but it got them very close to that winnable position. But when you rush in, you have to make sure that your intel is there and you can actually capitalize on that surprise factor. They're able to recover on it though, and it was going to be the defenders winning that round. But again, both teams struggled on attack, and it came down to who could win better on defense. The strategies from 303 were just better placed and more, I want to say, executed. more well executed.
Yeah, I think I would have to say if you're going to make an attempt to play aggressive, you have to be smart and aggressive. That is the number one thing that a lot of people think. It's just, if you swing, you're guaranteed to get kills. That's not necessarily the case. You have to have people backing you up. You have to have the droning. You have to have the intel. And, sometimes it's just not what's happening with hostile actions. And I think that exactly what you're saying, Matt, that's sort of losing them rounds almost. But in any case, Smith, do you have anything else to say? Or Matt, do you have anything else to say? We've got maybe 30 more seconds here before we are wrapping up for tonight. So
You want to go ahead, Matt?
I don't really have anything else to say. I've said everything that I could possibly talk about for the match, but main thing was that attacking, these teams struggled, and it was really a defensive showdown between the two.
I'm just gonna go ahead and try to break down one of the rounds as far as hostile actions go. In round 2, like 303, they should have made the best out of the situation. They shouldn't have tried to funnel through the garage door, and it ended up costing their lives. It could have been a lot more efficient to just focus your utility and efforts on getting garage control and then push site from there. Because what you could have done, you had your Habana left. I know you guys in a bad situation with Maverick down. You had your Habana. Try to get those walls, so garage walls. Use your utility to get the person out the rafters. And if there was no rotate on CC wall, you have a sledge alive, hopefully, and you can just take site from there. It would have been simple as that. I wouldn't really have tried to funnel through the garage door. It ended up costing you to win there.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Smith. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I think that wraps up our time for tonight. Smith, Matt, you guys have been amazing. It's been a phenomenal night of just one series today, but still, I enjoyed watching it. We saw some long matches and lots of good plays, but at the same time, lots of things that need to be improved on. And we're at the halfway point of the season, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that from these teams as we go on forward. So, with that being said, guys, my name is Rigel, and for everyone here at the SCS team, especially Ferme, Galaxis behind the scenes, all of our observers, Henru, and Bean from tonight, and literally everyone on the desk staff, thank you, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday for our first matches.
Make sure you follow me at Santos